Hi, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm still playing around with my mic. If you want to throw a little reaction, a little thumbs up or a heart or something like that, that would be super helpful. Thank you very much. All right, and welcome, everybody. As usual, I'm here a little early. We won't start painting until about 2 o'clock, but as usual, I'm just here to answer any questions and say hi. There's a little thumbs up there. Perfect. Maybe a couple more. Awesome. There's a couple more. All right. Hey, Lori, happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? How's your Sunday going? Mine's going well. We're painting today, so it's a good day, as Bob would say. That all rhymed. Look at me go. Crystal's asking if this will be saved and posted later, same as Jillian. Yes. As usual, I plan to keep all of my painting live streams posted either here or on YouTube. I am still trying to edit down my first video. I think I'll get a little quicker as I go along. I'm already learning things and getting faster. But yeah, the full-length videos will either be here on Facebook or I'll shift them to YouTube just so they're all in one solid place. I was saying earlier, sometimes people have trouble navigating to the videos tab on this page. I don't know. They can't find it somehow. So anyway, I'll be putting together a nice clean like YouTube link, and then that way you can go over there, watch all the videos at your own pace. They'll all kind of live there indefinitely. Yeah, there you go. I'm excited too, Lauren. Thanks for coming. And yes, Mandy, as I just said, there will be a replay of this. So if you can't attend, that's totally fine. Hey, Mish. Jana, Kathy, hey. Jacqueline, hello. Thank you, Alexis. That helps a lot. Even if it needs to be a little louder, a little quieter, you can just let me know. I'm still playing around with placement, and if I'm looking this way or up or down, whatever, just want to make sure you can continue to hear me all right. Yes, Diane, I am too. And I'm using my 5 colors today. I'm using red, yellow, blue, black, and white. I would say mainly, I saw you said the main colors being used today. I would say mainly blue, mainly white, and yeah, minimal yellow. Red is like in between, and then black is pretty minimal too. You can see the black is just for the little silhouette here. It's mostly going to be lots of blues. Blues made is used to make purple. We've got the teal. We've got this just regular blue down here. And then the pink is going to be red and white. So again, mostly blue, mostly white, medium red, little bits of yellow, black. There you go. Thanks, Samara. All good. I'm glad you're excited. Hey, Heather from Saskatchewan, welcome. Oh, yeah, Mish? I was talking about, yeah, like patio garden, I guess, last time, but I still haven't gotten my plants. Anyway, I can understand you're hoping for rain for that. Hey, Marlene, I'm glad you're ready. Hello from Mississauga. I'm from Kitchener, for those who don't know. But I'm always happy to hear where everyone else is from, just to see how widespread we're getting. Again, Heather was from Saskatchewan, so that's pretty exciting. We're already out of province. We had a couple out of country last time. We had New York, I believe. I think Georgia was one of them. Another state, North Carolina, I think was there. Anyway, it's pretty cool to see, how many people are coming from all over. So keep telling me where you're from if you'd like. Hey, Terry, nice to see you. And hello, Susie. There you go. If you're sharing where you're from, that's cool. In the meantime, of course, you can have a nice close-up look at the painting. If anyone has any quick questions about anything at all about this live stream, you can definitely let me know. Most of the information, if not all of it, is in the description on the top here. So if you want to navigate to that way, top right for me, you can see all the listed materials. I created a pinned comment as well, so you can hopefully find those nice and easy today. And yeah, anything else you might need to know is probably up there as well. There we go. There we go. See, we've got Indiana, Bayside, Ontario. Welcome, North Bay. Shout out to Avery, Indy, and Emerson. Hey. Yes, of course. You always get a shout out. Emily from Niagara Falls. Diane's asking about the brushes. Definitely. Let's show them off here. It's my usual trio of brushes. We've got this nice large flat one. We've got a medium round and a small round. And I'll be using these, but if you have anything slightly different, that's always okay. I always say as long as you have a couple different sizes, I find that helps just for certain elements. Of course, a nice small brush for our little silhouette here and the stars, a bigger brush for the galaxy. You know what? I'm actually thinking more. I don't think I even used this one, so cancel that. If you don't want, or if you don't have a large flat, forget it. I don't think I used that. I'm pretty sure I used the medium size the whole time. I did. I'll say that definitively. I wonder if I can edit the description. I sure can. I'm going to remove large flat from there just so nobody's confused. I mean, if you have one, it won't do you any harm, of course. So, keep it around if you want, but I did use the medium one for this whole thing. I found it really nice just to blend with rather than using a big brush. Things got a little bit messy. And using a more medium-sized brush, the medium round, you can see all the nice little brush strokes in there. That was just to help kind of blend everything as it went, and it just made it a little more textured and galactic, in my opinion, to have the medium-sized brush kind of touching everywhere and making all those individual brush strokes. So let's change my mind. Yep, we're going to do just the two. And I'll fix my pinned comment if I can. Nope, sure can't. Nope, that's fine. Okay, anyway, those are the two. Charlene's on her balcony. That's so nice. Again, I really hope that I can get to my balcony soon. I don't know how to lug everything out there, but that would be kind of cool if we could all paint outside together. I think that would be really awesome. Of course, Terry's from Fort Francis. Yes, Kathy from Calgary. Hey, Pina, nice to see you again. Shout out to Victoria, Bentley, and Marlene. Yay! Alexis, I'll help you out, I guess, when we get to that, but the white stuff here, I kind of thought of it as kind of like a Milky Way type galaxy. And I spent a lot of time on this just doing the dry brushing technique. So I was using just small amounts of paint. If you want a nice close-up, you can see how transparent it all is. So that was just by using small amounts of paint, kind of rubbing or tapping with my brush and kind of sticking it more. You can see in the middle, I strategically placed this so that I can cover up any kind of blending mistakes or just blending, mishaps that I didn't really like. So the white really helps just kind of separate the colors as well as cover up some things. So there you go, like in here, you can see how I kind of strategically put it all along the edges of some of the colors just to make it a little easier. But yeah, it's just a little bit more patience as usual. I'm finding this with a lot of my designs. It's a lot of kind of repeating the same step, just a little bit more patience with it. So, grabbing small amounts of paint, rubbing it around, tapping it, things like that. But yeah, Alexis, if she's ever having trouble when we reach that step, definitely let me know. I'm always trying to read the comments, and I can try my best to help her out as much as possible. Maybe she'll get it the first try, though. We'll see. Hey, Ashley. No worries, Ashley. You can always hang out if you want right now, or yeah, just wait till later. No worries. Yeah, I guess not, Mish. I really thought about it for a second there. I was like, I don't think I really used it. No, I think I started using it. That's why I initially pulled it out. I was working on this painting quite a bit. There are a few layers in here of like rearranging colors and stuff, and I started to diverge away from this brush, which is shocking, but that's the truth. And Charlene's painting on a board today. Again, cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Yeah, you can do the sponge, exactly. So Alexis, Lori was helping you out in the comments there. A sponge would work well, dabbing, exactly. Yep, a lot of people use different materials and techniques. Just using a paper towel, for example, even helps a lot of people just tapping it around. I guess because of the larger surface area, and it kind of mixes the paint as you go. So if she wants to try that, she's welcome to. Otherwise, you can have a look at what I do with my medium-sized brush here and see if she can replicate. Yeah. Welcome, Sam and Alice. You're both ready to go. Already full of paint. You haven't even started yet. That's how it goes. That's why I don't pour my paint until after we start, because or else it starts to run down everywhere and gets all messy. Of course, because I have my big old plate here, so I'm just going to leave it alone until we actually start. Yeah, it sure could, Diane. Yeah, you can see there's lots of nice open space here. So if you had a smaller canvas, you could definitely even just shrink down the whole design if you wanted. You could skip some colors, or you can bring the colors down. Either one works. Yeah, just because of the nice silhouette too. The silhouette's nice and small, nice and, low to the ground here, or low to the bottom of the canvas rather. Lots of room to do your little heart and stars here, even if it's shrunk down a little bit. So definitely lots of room to customize there if you have a smaller canvas or just smaller surface area that you're working on. Hello, Wendy from Greenlee near Ottawa. Thanks for clarifying. I don't know where Greenlee is, but thank you. So yeah, welcome to you, Wendy. Looks like we have about 8 to 10 minutes to go. We'll just see who else is popping in here. Again, if there's any questions, just let me know. I've been working on some new paintings. None of them are quite done. I have one more done, but otherwise I've been looking at your beautiful list of suggestions. A couple live streams ago, I took a whole list of suggestions for painting topics, and I've been kind of looking at those and getting inspiration. Check out this big list, and there's paint splatters on it appropriately enough from something I was doing. Anyway, I've been looking through those and trying my best to create some designs, and I'll be painting a lot more probably today, tomorrow. So I'm hoping to have more events up on the Facebook page in the next day or two probably. So you can just keep watching the Facebook page, erinbunpaints, and yeah, you should be notified when I post more events. So you can just keep watching there. Hey, Steph from Lakefield. Glad you're looking forward to it. Thanks so much for joining in. I see, Terry. Okay, yeah. I guess there's another canvas shortage. Oh, it just goes up and down, I'm finding. Sometimes there's all the canvas selection and then there's just none again. So, yeah, keep looking around. Awesome. I'm glad you're excited, Patty. Welcome. And Sharon, nice to see you. Hello. Shailene, you're very welcome. And a nice paint afternoon. Yeah, it's a paint afternoon for me here as well. nice 2 p.m., just kind of later in the day a little bit, not super late, but figure everyone wants to enjoy their Sunday mornings and, you know, roll out of bed whenever you want and then come and paint a little later. So hopefully that's working. And again, if anyone has suggestions for times of day you want to paint, I'm always open to that. So far I've been sticking to maybe like Friday nights. I've been doing kind of 8 p.m. events because I think I've heard that people want to do something a little bit later, and then Sunday kind of early afternoon. So if anyone has more suggestions for days that would work for you, or even times on, you know, popular days like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, totally open to it. Hey B, thanks for joining in. Oh, okay, Mish, I'll see you there. Thanks, Lisa. I'm glad too, and I'm glad you're here. Hey, Barb. Yes, Marie, yes. I was talking about that a little earlier, but I intend for all of my videos to be available for viewing afterwards. They will either be here on this Facebook page, or I'm going to shift them to my YouTube page. I'm still in the middle of just editing one of the videos down, and then what I'm going to do is transfer all of the 3-hour-long videos over there too, just so they're all in one place so nobody's confused about why certain ones are in certain spots. But you'll always have an option. So if you can't find it on Facebook, it'll be on YouTube, for example. So just keep your eye out for that. I'll be sure to let everybody know once I get all that done. Not too bad there, Terry. That's good. Oh, we hit 30, Lauren. Oh, wow. We're getting later and later. Yeah. That's why I was doing 8. I was hearing that people wanted to get maybe the kids to bed sometimes and just have a little bit more of like a, you know, downtime in the evening. So yeah, I'll keep 8:30 in mind. Nice super late night. That would be cool. Okay, I'm glad you like this time, Emily. That's great. You're welcome, Marie. Feel free to hang out in the meantime, Marie, if you want to just chat with people and see what we're doing. Totally fine. It's always fun just to watch too. In my opinion, that's what I like. I like just watching and relaxing and watching someone else paint rather than painting along sometimes. So Saturday's a day. Ooh, yeah, Charlene. Yeah, I don't think I've done a Saturday quite yet. So maybe I'll look into it for this Saturday. I'd have to check my schedule, but perhaps. Ooh, I think it looks open. How many paintings can I create in the next day or two? That's more the question. I need to create paintings to be able to post some of these tutorials. So we'll see how much I can create in the next day or two and get them up as soon as I can. All right. And Michelle, nice to see you. Hello. And Jennifer likes Saturday nights too. Mish, I see you have quite a few there. Friday night at 8. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I'm open to all of it. I mean, I've done 2 Sundays at about 2 p.m. now, so why not switch it up maybe for next Sunday? We'll see. Again, you can just keep your eye on the page, and I'm sure I'll have all the info up very, very soon for everybody. So just keep on watching. But yeah, I guess some of the themes I was playing with. I know I had a lot of people requesting somewhat of a Father's Day theme because I know that's going to sneak right up on us. So I'm not sure if maybe some of you want that before Father's Day or maybe like on that weekend. I wasn't sure if you were looking for gifts for the father or like bringing the father to a nice painting tutorial with me. So let me know if you had an opinion on that as well, if you'd rather get the painting done like weeks early, or if you're looking for more of a Father's Day activity and having more of a Father's Day themed painting. Still trying to decide on the theme. I had a few themes written down for Father's Day. Fishing seemed to be a popular one, so let me know what you think of that. There we go, Catherine. I didn't even read your comment, I swear. I just looked to my list. Fishing was there. Yes, awesome. Okay, Lisa's looking for gifts. Maybe I can even compromise and do like a Friday night, and then that way the Sunday is Father's Day, but it still could be either way. It could be either a Father's Day activity or the gift, or both, why not? So yeah, I'll keep thinking about that one. I'll try and get that one posted earlier as well, just so you can really plan ahead for it and really solidify your plans if you need to do that. What else was I playing with? Camping themes. Ooh, yeah. I'm in the middle of designing one of those, like a kind of tent outdoorsy theme, so you can look out for that one if that was one of your requests. Before Father's Day, we can give it as a gift. Okay, Father's Day gift idea. Oh, okay, this is, okay, Pina, I gotcha. There you go, and you can, that's a great idea by Pina. You can just choose any painting I have and kind of turn it into a theme you want. So that's what Pina's doing. She's kind of making it into a Father's Day gift, turning the little girl silhouette into a boy with a telescope. That's such a cute idea. I can't wait. And we've got more requests for fishing. Okay. And Owl Charlene, yeah, I believe that's on my list. I'll just double check. I'll write it down just in case it's not. But I feel like that one's been swirling in my mind anyway, so there we go. Hello, Sue from Guelph. Oh, okay, Mish, that would be interesting too. Yeah, maybe I'll try and make sure I get that done soon. And then if you want to do that for a Father's Day one, you can do that if you wish, for sure. Cottage themed. Yep, Lori, I've got that written down. I'm still trying to design kind of a scenery for that one. Will it be off the dock? Will it be kind of a cabin theme, just outdoorsy? Not sure. I'm still working on that one. Mountains, trees, lake, landscape. Yeah, Crystal, I've got like all of that down. And maybe the camping one is actually incorporating some mountains. So you might be getting 2 good themes there. There you go. Instead of a small round, Diane, just any small brush. It doesn't need to be round. If you're asking about this one here, just any small one. It's just literally a detail brush for the small details, right? Because we want something small to be able to do, you know, the nice little silhouette here. And then we have lots of little stars to do. So anything tiny is fine. And I mean, worst case scenario, I know people like to use the back end of brushes for stars. You could choose a bigger brush and just use the wooden or plastic end and just use that to dot your nice little tiny dots. So there you go. You can experiment with that if you don't have a tiny detail brush, and then maybe just be extra careful when you're doing like the smaller details in the silhouette here. Wolf or fox, I definitely have a wolf down here. And fox is there too. They're awesome. Cottage at the lake. And yes, Leah, you can watch it later. It'll be on here or on YouTube. I'll make sure to let you know where it is so you can find it easily. A moose. I don't think I have a moose down yet. You guys love your animals, it sounds like. Hi, Emily. Nice to see you. And a pet silhouette. Oh, that would be cute. Yeah, I think, Mish, I think Friday night for the Father's Day theme would be great. And I'll throw in a few others kind of leading up to that that could be Father's Day themed. So like you said, if you want a camping one, that'll be in the next, for sure, week or two. And then you can use that if you want. But yeah, I kind of like the Friday night for Father's Day theme as well. I think that's cool. Dinny is here. Shout out Dinny. Hey, Carol. Yeah, Diane, mountains. I'm going to do some mountains, I think, in the camping theme. That's what my current design has. But maybe I'll do another one with mountains if everyone's like just looking for a nice, you know, painting with only mountains is kind of the front and center piece. But the camping one I'm doing, you'll kind of see. I don't want to give too much away, but mountains are a pretty big focus in it. So we will see. Oh, cute. That's such a good idea, Patty. Okay, guys, so I think, I have caught up with comments, and I think everyone's probably ready to go. We're about a minute or two past 2 o'clock. So, yeah, without further ado, everybody, welcome to my painting live stream. I'm Erin of erinbunpaints, as you can see by the page name. Welcome, everybody, and thanks so much for joining. It's always exciting to see everybody here. Just brightens my day to be able to paint with all of you online, so thanks so much for coming. The painting today is displayed here. Once again, it's a nameless painting. Name it whatever you like. It's just a nice, really galactic, spacey painting. Lots of pretty stars in here. Lots of beautiful colors. Some of my favorite colors in this painting. The nice pinks, purples, this nice teal color, the blue. I think they all work really, really nice together. And then we have a nice little silhouette down here of this little girl kind of blowing some nice magical stars out into space with a little heart. Maybe she's missing her lover. I don't know, but you can kind of create your own story or customize this as you like, everybody. So feel free to follow along with me. Use the techniques I teach you, and then just move things around, switch it up as you like. That's kind of the whole point. You should be making it your own painting. Even if it's the different colors. I know I just, vouched for all these colors here being the best colors in my opinion, but if you have a different vibe, a different feel for different colors, go for it. You can have lots of different things in here. So as usual, I'll switch this out. And then that way you can see my painting nice and close up, because I'll be painting this with you step by step. So you can see exactly what I'm doing and follow along as much or as little as you like. And then just to go over the materials again for you, I'm going to be using my 5 paint colors. So someone was asking how much of each color. I would say the main colors today are white and blue, phthalo blue specifically. We use about a medium amount of red. And then we have little amounts of yellow and black. The black is just for the silhouette. The yellow is just for the little teal there. So not too much of either of those. And then what else here? We've got our brushes. I was yakking about those earlier. We don't use all 3 today. We just use 2. We just have this medium round brush. We have a tiny detail brush. I skipped out on the big brush today. I just liked the medium brush for all of that nice texture in the background. So even though there are some large amounts of paint in certain areas, I still used the medium-sized brush for all of it, just to keep with the texture and kind of make blending, I thought, a little bit easier. So that's what I'm suggesting today. And then otherwise, I have a cup of paint water as usual. I have a towel to be wiping my paintbrush onto. I'm wearing my apron. And those are really all the things you need. If you're missing a few things, that's okay. Maybe you have some extra things, that's even better. And that's what I'm using. So there you go. I'm just going to catch up on comments that we can get started. And, ooh, I like Louise painting, yeah. Yeah, certainly could, Carol. Welcome, Bernadine. Galaxy Girl is Catherine's painting name. Lori, Kiss in the Wind. See, you guys are better at coming up with names than I am, so it's even better. Emily, hello from Barry. Hey, Deepa. We're using acrylic today, Deepa. I'm sticking to acrylics for now. I was going to say mostly, but I always stick to acrylic, so there you go. And hello, Susan from Woodbridge. And Emily, the colors again, we have white, blue, red, yellow, black. And I tried to put them in order of most used to least used. Okay, let's get started, everybody. I'm going to grab this medium-sized round brush to start. Any medium-sized brush will do. Even if you want to try using a large brush, you can, but I suggest a nice medium size to start. I'm going to start in the top left corner with our darkest color of our galaxy. We have a beautiful kind of medium to dark purple just to fill up the left-hand side. So for those who don't know how to mix purple, I will show you. We're going to use some red. I use this brand specifically, but any brand will do. Again, it's acrylic paint I'm using in case anyone was wondering. Just going to pour a nice big pile of red. And then I'm dipping into some phthalo blue. Phthalo blue. Whatever happened to that phthalo blue game for those who've joined me before? Come on out. Come on out. Oh, I better have more than this. Ooh, it's crucial today. Okay. Hope I don't have to run and get some blue from my car. That would be, ugh. Try my best to use what's there. All right, so I've dumped some red and blue out. Got red and blue on my beautiful volcano plate. Welcome back. It's just getting bigger by the day. And I'm going to mix red and blue together. So I'm just mixing the two. Sometimes I mix white in it to make it a little bit brighter, but I do want it to be nice and deep and dark, as you can see up there. A nice true deep violet color. So red and blue mixed together to create a nice deep violet. Feathers and furless, okay. More like a realistic type thing rather than cartoony, I'm kind of sensing. Whenever you have your purple ready, everybody, we can stick it anywhere in the top left corner. If you want to be more specific, I would say I bring it about a quarter of the way down. I would say I go about 2/3 of the way across. The way I'm applying it is, again, I like to use this medium-sized brush for all of the nice texture. So to really help out with that, I'm going to be applying it in these small little strokes. Left, right, left, right, left, right. So all of the strokes do overlap. And you know, you don't really see any gaps anywhere, but you can still see all the beautiful brush strokes as you go. You might see some canvas pulling through, that's fine. You might see some ridges in the paint. You can see how they're kind of popping off in the light there. That's even better. That all adds to your beautiful texture. So if you like texture like me, then you can continue with those small little brush strokes. There are lots of different tones of purple, by the way. You can add more red to make it a little more of a warmer kind of maroon purple. I'm trying to demonstrate that here just to show you different kinds. That versus this one's more of a blue purple, so you should just choose whatever one you like. Usually I lean more towards the reddish purple, so maybe using a little extra red in your blue-red mixture. But again, that's all a very personal preference thing. You should be doing, you should be making whatever purple you like. It's more important to be liking what you're making rather than replicating exactly what I'm doing. I think that's very important. So again, I'm bringing this, what I said is about a quarter of the way down and about 2/3 of the way across. using lots of paint too. I'm really liking to stack it on, and then that way you get lots of different, again, textures, ridges in your paint. So again, if you see the color difference, that was only to demonstrate the different shades of purple you can choose from. It's not a necessary step to do the 2 different ones, unless you want to make it 2 different purples. That's all up to you. You'll get even more beautiful shades of purple in your galaxy. You can do that with any color too, kind of play with how much of each shade you're using when you mix a color, and then that way you get slightly different tones. Okay, so I'm trying my best as well to kind of mess up this edge a little bit. I don't want to do a straight edge anywhere. I want to make it look like everything's going to be blending together, kind of molding together. So I'm trying my best to bring maybe a little extra purple down here or out here, just again to make it kind of scattered. That'll help when we blend later on with different colors. It'll help make it look a little more natural. Just like a real galaxy, everything's just kind of molding together. Nothing's very separated. We still have our separate colors, but they're all kind of working together just to make a nice, beautiful galactic sky. So that's what I'm going to stick with here. Again, I'm just kind of looking at the top left corner, filling that up any way I like. If you really love purple, I love purple too. But you can move it further if you want to make the purple come down further or further to the right. Again, it's all up to you how much of each color you want to use. I would say I used mostly blue and teal. The purple pink was a little bit less, so feel free to customize. Hey Marissa, welcome back. Hello from Peterborough. No worries, Deepa, thumbs up for you. Hey Kellyanne, you found me. Nice to see you. Heather, yes, welcome back. Okay, no worries. As you saw, we just did our first little step there, so all good. Cheers. Oh, I didn't cheers, everybody. Thank you, Julie. You're such a good reminder for that. Cheers. Just got my nice water on a nice Sunday afternoon, but cheers, everybody. Kellyanne, maybe we should think of our own thing to do at the start of these. I'm trying to think of something. I'll get it ready for next time. Yes. Oh, it sounds like some of you are thinking of that. Okay, okay. I'll get thinking for next time. We'll do a little thing all together before we start. Jody. Yeah, it's just all the different shades of purple, I think. Again, if you use more red, more blue, and it definitely depends on, I've been hearing a lot of people saying it depends on what, not just brand, but kind of shade or tone they're using. I use specifically this bright red from the Start Academic Acrylic, and it has never really led me the wrong way. It always produces really nice bright colors like the bright pink up there. Even when my purple's dark, you can still see it a little bit brighter. And then that phthalo blue I find very important as well. It creates really nice, very bright blues when you mix it with white. You can make beautiful teals, and again, I do think it helps to make some brighter purples as well. So if I can make one recommendation for a specific paint color that I use, probably the phthalo blue would be one that I would look for. But everything else is pretty flexible. For the most part, red is red, yellow is yellow, but sometimes they do vary. You can get bright versions, you can get warm or cool versions of those as well, and that might affect your purples, your pinks, things like that. And yes, Heather, only blue and red. I did not mix any white. Yes, a painting toast. Yeah, I think so too, Carol. Something like that. I'll get to thinking. Maybe when I'm editing a little later, I'll be thinking of some little thing to do at the start to set us off. I think that would be fun. You're welcome, Jennifer. Thanks for popping in. Let me know if I can help you with anything. All right, so for those who are new, usually what we do is we throw some little thumbs up reactions whenever you're ready, just so I can keep track of how everybody's doing in terms of what step they're on and just a general pace. I'm pretty good, in my opinion, about pacing these things out, but sometimes techniques take a little longer for others, so I'm happy to adjust as you need. So you can just throw your little thumbs whenever you're ready, or throw some comments if you think I'm going a little quick or whatever, a little slow. If you prefer to type, that's fine too. Here they come. There we go. Right on track. Awesome. All right, so what we're going to do next, everybody, is we're going to work down the painting. On the left-hand side, we're going to do our pink. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to blend first. What a shocker, everybody. Usually what I like to do is I like to apply all the colors and then blend. But I found it a little easier in this painting to get the blending done as I went, and then I kind of carried the blending down. I think it was because I had more room to play around with blending. I kind of liked the idea of really allowing the purple to mix into the pink and vice versa, and all the other colors as well. So I preferred blending first, getting that done, and then moving around with my other colors. Because there's so many other, I guess, shades of the color as well, so it's not like you're looking to create a clean version of a color. You can see all of it starts to get mixed around everywhere. So anyway, that's my theory behind it all. So I'm going to mix a pink now, and pink is made by mixing red and white. Red and white. So I would wash off your brush before you do this. If you're using that medium-sized brush or any brush you're using, I would wash it off. And we are mixing red and white together. I would say about even amounts of each, just because I'm going for a really nice bright pink. But again, that's up to you. If you want a lighter pink, add more white. If you want an even brighter pink than I have, try a little more red. But I would say I'm doing about half-half here. Anything nice and bright and beautiful for the pink. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to blend first the most shocking part of this painting, and the no big brush too, I guess. This is just shocking in general. So what I'm going to do is I am going to apply a little bit first. So I just like to border around that bottom edge of the purple. You can see I keep my pink kind of on the left-hand side with the purple. So I'm just going to bring it all around the edge there, just to kind of get rid of the paint from my brush as well. You can see how the more I stroke, the more it comes off a little more dry because it's running out of paint to put on the canvas. So I'm just doing that until there's barely any left. Leave that there for a quick second. Thanks for your thumbs, everybody. And then once you have less pink on your brush, you can still have a little, as you can see, but there's much less. Now I'm going to stroke in between the pink and purple, and you can see what happens is your brush picks up a little bit of both and just blends them together. And your purple should still be wet. Mine is a little bit sticky here and there, but obviously there is enough that you can see it's starting to blend together. So as I was talking about before, I really liked the idea of blending first because I was a little more flexible with allowing the blend to go up and down, so you get lots of colors interacting with one another. So I'm going to keep wiping off my brush as I go, and then I'm going to be going back to my colors just to help pick up what's on the canvas and moving them up and down a lot into each other, so you get kind of streaks of purple coming down, you got streaks of pink coming up. You can always re-grab some pink or purple if you need and kind of put it right on top of the other color. And I found that really helped make it look like there were some beautiful in-between spots where the colors were really molding together and creating brand new colors in between. So that's what I like doing. I like playing around in this area for a little bit first. Again, you can see how high up I'm going. I'm going to keep grabbing my pink because it's running out down here, and I'm just going to keep applying it on top. And in terms of the brush stroke, again, maybe I'll slow that down. You can see I'm trying to go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I like the little crisscross. I think just creates some nice variety of strokes rather than doing all one way. The crisscross kind of helps, again, get some variety in there so it doesn't look too uniform. You can also try tapping if you wish. I think I like stroking just because it helps really move the paints on top of one another a little bit more. Really encourages them to mix around. So that's what I have so far. You can see I tried to bring up some pink, bring down some purple, so you get a nice mix of everything in there. Oops. So what I'm doing on my plate over here is I'm just mixing some more pink. I've already run out. We need lots more. And I'll just continue bringing it down. You can see when I was blending, a lot of my pink kind of disappeared into the purple. That was fully expected. That's what I wanted anyway. I'm just going to now grab some new pink on my brush and bring it down further so I have some nice bright pink areas just kind of by themselves. And in terms of how far down, you can see I am starting to kind of angle downwards just to keep with the painting here. I liked the idea of having my galaxy or Milky Way type area just kind of splitting across the canvas in that diagonal fashion. So I'm going to try and plan ahead for that and keep this kind of diagonal line coming down. But again, if you want to move your strokes in and out as you go a little bit just to kind of break up a solid line, that would be a good idea. So I think the tendency with this painting, at least when I was painting it, is I kept looking in all of these different areas and I got excited about doing all these different things. I'd be like, oh, I want to blend, I want to add more pink, I want to shape up this area. So if it helps, just try your best to focus on one area at a time. So I'm right now trying to focus on my pink, even though I'm excited to go back and blend. I'm going to say, all right, just you know, look at one thing for a nice minute or so and then move on to your next one. That area will still be there in a couple minutes. You can always go back. And in terms of how far down, you can see I go down pretty far. You don't really need to go to this exact corner just because we have our little silhouette here. If you want to be safe, you can certainly fill up the whole entire canvas with your galaxy as we go. So with color by color, you can of course move those everywhere if you want. I'll be leaving some blank spots just for the sake of saving my paint. If you're in the same situation as me where you're like banging on your bottles every 2 minutes to get as much paint out as you can, then you might want to save some as well. So I'm going to bring this down almost to the corner, over there somewhere. So again, I will have a little ledge kind of coming up, so I'm not too worried about this area here. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. I have my kind of blended pinky purple area. I've got some pinks. And I'll be going on to kind of playing around with the pink a little bit more in the next minute or so. I want to make sure my pink is nice and wet so that I can continue to blend different shades in there. That was another theme of this painting, not just using pink, using lots of pinks. I have some light pinks, some hot pinks, some medium pink, all working together in there. Comments are quiet. I assume you're all happily just putting on your like nice pink galaxies now, or whatever color you're using. Maybe some of you are already switching it up. I'm excited to see. As usual, at the end of this live stream, I'll direct you to where you can post some photos. It's always my favorite part, is logging off and then seeing all the photos after. So I can't wait for these today. So everybody, I'm going to go on to playing around with our pink. So all of these upcoming steps here, they're just kind of playing around with what we have. So if you need to take your time a little bit more, please take your time. These are all just kind of fun steps to work with the paint as it's still wet to make it even more galactic. So I'm going to take my brush now. I'm just going to grab a little scoop of white. And all I'm going to do is plop it on top of my pink in my small little brush strokes. And what's happening is the white mixes with the pink. It creates a nice light pink. And I'm just putting that in a nice little pile, a little section. I'm not worried about what's going on, the direction it's going. All I know is it's a nice light pink patch in my hot pink galaxy. Maybe you can bring it up or over, whatever you want. You can see it just adds a little bit more kind of dimension to your galaxy, like just like regular galaxies. Or I guess colors in the sky, you have lots of different shades going on. They're all molding together. So I really like to play with that in this painting. I'm grabbing more white, stacking it on a little bit more. And you'll notice that the more you blend on top, the more you stroke on top, the more the white kind of disappears and turns into more of a similar pink than what you had before. If you leave it alone, it'll stay a little lighter. And just kind of pop off a little bit more. So it's your choice whether you want to blend things in a lot just by stroking on top, or if you want to kind of leave them alone and have them stand out a little bit more. So I did that with some white. I'm going to do that with a little bit of red as well. So the red will mix into the pink as I apply it. Creates a nice hot pink area, even hotter than before. So see how it's darkening up just a little bit. And again, there's no strategy to where exactly I'm putting these, just anywhere in the pink. And I kind of put them again in small sections or kind of trail them off, similar to what our nice Milky Way galaxy will do. It kind of trails off. Okay, so I'm getting some variety now of shades. And you are even welcome to dip back into your purple. I'm just trying to find it on my plate here. Where did that go? There it is. Purple, you can even stack some purple on top, even far away from your purple. That's what I did down here. I'll bring it forward just so you can really see. Down here, I even brought it a little up here. This is kind of pink and purple mixed. So what I did is I grabbed a little extra of my purple from my plate. I just stacked it on the same way you saw me doing with the other colors there, and it created this nice kind of almost like a lavender color. It's very pretty, purpley pink. So I'm going to try to stick to what I did there, but if it looks a little different and the placement's a little different on yours, that's all totally fine. And galaxies have a large variety of colors and where they're going, so you don't need to match exactly what I'm doing. But again, I grabbed purple, doing the same back and forth motion, and the more I stroke on top, the more it's mixing with my pink and just creating a new shade. You can see where you first start applying it, it's going to be a little bit darker. The more you streak up into some new fresh pink, the more it fades away, so it looks like it's just kind of naturally fading into the existing pink. So hopefully you're having fun with those steps. This is supposed to be fun, just kind of moving the colors around. And if anything starts to look a little bit dry, like it's not really mixing together properly, you might just need to add a little bit more paint. So you can reapply a little bit of pink, reapply a little bit of purple, and keep using your brush just to mix them around on the canvas. So I'm grabbing more purple. I'm going to bring it down a little more into my pink. Again, you don't need to copy exactly where I'm going. If it helps you to do that, of course, feel free. But generally, this is just a technique to be using. You can use whatever colors you want, move them wherever you want. So you can see I'm creating all these nice little sections coming down. Just like up here, it looks like everything's kind of mixing and molding together. I love that look. It's so cool. I think I'll do a little more pink on mine. I'll just maybe bring some more pink up into the purple. Maybe I'll bring some more purple down the edge here. It's all customized to you, so you can do whatever you like here. Oh, I said pink and I grabbed purple. Whoops. I've only got two colors I'm trying to work with, and I'm mixing them up already. I'm seeing a couple thumbs. I'm just going to play around a little bit more and just to make sure everyone has lots of time to play around. But I will move on in the next minute or two. How about that? And as the paint dries, you might find that you can really stack color on a little bit brighter. So rather than blending it in, having it disappear, now that my purple is a little more dry, I can grab some pink and stroke it on top a little bit bolder. You see how it just kind of moved up a lot easier. It wasn't blending a whole lot as I went. So if you really like this kind of trailing of colors, it's a good time to play around now because things have kind of dried up a little bit, so you can really stack color on top without it, you know, blending in and disappearing. Ooh, exciting, we're at 100 people watching. Welcome to all 100 of you. Thanks for tuning in. All doing this together. Okay, so I think I've played enough with mine. Again, I have some nice variety. Again, the light pinks, the darker pinks, the pinkish purple, and I've got lots kind of molding into one another as well. That's all the things that I'm looking for. So I'm going to move on now to a new color just because I'm seeing quite a few thumbs popping up both in the reactions and the chat there. So let's do it. So I'm going to be washing off that same brush again. That was that medium-sized round brush. And I'm going to move up to the teal now. I like to do the teal next. It's going to border our pink and purple. I'm not going to worry too much about blending it. I will try and bring it nice and close and maybe blend what I can, but I think I noted at the start and I'll note it again. This white galaxy Milky Way type thing, it was strategically placed so that if you had any issues with blending, just because everything's drying as we speak, you'll be able to put the white on top of that border and kind of hide any inconsistencies or messiness that you don't like. But again, you're welcome to try the best you can and even re-add paint if you do want to try practicing blending before we add the white later on. Okay, so let's mix together a teal. So teal is made by mixing 3 different colors. We will start with blue and white. Blue and white. I would say equal amounts or maybe a little extra white if you want it more of a nice light teal. So either half-half or maybe 1/3 blue, 2/3 white if you want to get real technical there. You can play around as well, see how things are looking. Run out of white again. All right, twisting my volcano around. Here it is, a nice medium to light blue, I would call this. I think I'll mix more of it just because I know I'm going to need a lot here. Some fresh white. Nice big scoop. There we go. Medium to light blue, just anything nice and bright is what I'm going for. And this is kind of the color we're using later, maybe a little darker, but for now I want to be making the nice teal, so the nice color in the top right. So I'm grabbing just a little bit of yellow paint, and I'm going to mix it into my blue and white, and that's what creates a nice teal or turquoise color. It just makes it a little more on the green side. It's not quite green, it's just kind of almost there. Can't really decide, it's right in between. I'm going to lighten mine up with a little more white just to try my best to match what I have behind me. But again, if you're into a brighter, more vibrant teal, you can kind of leave it the way it is. You can even add more blue and yellow in there to make it a little more vibrant. But I'm going to stick more to this lighter shade of teal. So whenever you're ready, it's the same idea. We're going to be taking that same brush. We've got teal ready to go. And I'm going to apply it in these back and forth motions here. So as I was saying before, you can bring this right up next to your purple. Oh, it is blending. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to bring it right up next to it for now. And if it does blend, great. If it doesn't blend, great as well. That's okay. So I hit a little bit of wet purple there. It looked like mine was blending. So if you'd like, you can try and overlap a little bit as you go. Just use some small little strokes just so nothing gets too messy or too, solid in there. You can even just lightly stroke on top and that'll make it almost a pure blended, even if your purple isn't too wet. See how it's kind of softly going on top, even though it's not really mixing with the purple, it just kind of softly rests on top, makes it appear a little more blended. Because it will help, honestly, to not have a harsh edge underneath your white. You might be able to see that a little bit through it. So if you can, just softly touch your brush along that edge. And if it's not blending wet on wet, that's okay. At least you'll have this nice soft edge that can be a little easier covered with your white. So I'm bringing that all the way down, actually. Even though you can see the blue section, I did bring the teal, see, all the way down there. It kind of borders that whole galaxy Milky Way area, and then I will fill up a little more up in the top right as well. So again, I'm kind of switching it up today. I'm kind of blending as I go. I'm applying a little bit of paint, then I'm going back. I'm just kind of brushing in between. Again, if you really like the wet on wet blending and just want to be super safe in this area and try to blend together, these colors will all blend nicely. So if you want, you could re-add a little bit of pink or a little bit of purple to your brush and then sweep in between, and that will help blend them together, soften it all up. And I guess maybe some of you are not liking the white, maybe you're saying, oh, I'm not going to add that. I'm just going to do all my beautiful colors. That's fine too. In which case, yes, you'll want to blend this together. But again, I'm not worried too much about it. Just going to keep working my way down. Again, if you softly brush over top, it almost appears blended. It's like cheap blending. You're not really blending wet on wet. You're just softly pushing this on top, and then it becomes transparent, and you can see the pink through it. It makes it look like it was quite literally blended wet on wet. So I'm going all the way down the border here. Again, I think I'll stop just before the bottom. You can see the teal actually stops at the silhouette, and what I do is I use blue underneath. So I'm going to use my blue later on to cover up anything underneath my nice silhouette later. So that's what it's looking like. Again, you can see not the most perfect blend, but it's still soft. So that was just by lightly wiping on top of the pink with my little bit of teal on my brush. So I've gone through that whole border. I still have lots of teal to add up here. I think I'll just give another minute or two just in case anyone's working on that before I concentrate on that section. Again, I find it helpful to kind of look at one thing at a time so you're not too overwhelmed by what's going on. I was just doing that all over the place again, working on this painting. I think I mentioned earlier I did different versions of this painting. There's lots of different colors underneath these ones because I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put things. And I think I was getting too overwhelmed at one point with just trying to work at too many things at once. So just one thing at a time, I think is very beneficial just to think about as you go. Okay, so I'm just going to keep working with the teal. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more, kind of in the more teal section. I would call this more of the border here. I would call this our main teal section in the top right. So I'm just going to continue bringing my teal down. I would say it comes down to about a third of the way if you want to get a little more technical. But once again, I will be kind of splitting it by going up and down with my brush as well. So roughly a third of the way down, or more or less if you would like. Oh, that's a slightly different color just because I remixed my teal, but that's all right because I'll be doing that on purpose in a minute anyway. So with this teal section, just like the pink, once I apply teal, I will go in with white. I'll go in with maybe some darker teal and just kind of brush that on top to help blend it in and create some nice variety of teal shades. I'll get to that in a second there. So still doing my back and forth motions, lots of little brush strokes in there. For those watching how many times I reload my brush, I am reloading it quite a lot just to make sure I'm using lots of paint so it stays nice and fresh. And that way I'll be able to blend lots of beautiful shades on top in the next minute or two. Kellyanne, no, not really. I'll show you again. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of softly brushing it on top. Some of it blended because I hit some wet pink and some wet purple. Maybe up here it was wet purple. But otherwise, I was just trying to use a small amount of paint and then softly brush it on top. This is a little bit of a different color, so I'll blend that in, but softly brushing on top. And the reasoning for it is because we're putting our nice white kind of Milky Way galaxy type look right on top. So it's not a huge deal if it's not perfectly blended. I was saying to everybody earlier that, you know, avoiding a harsh edge all along this side would be helpful because you might see a harsh edge underneath the soft white. But as long as it's kind of soft, kind of blended, that should be totally fine. So continuing to add my teal. Again, if you see a different shade, it's just because I may have remixed a slightly different shade there. Yep, looks a little darker. And with this teal as well, I like to kind of really try and mix it into the blue. And in order to do that, when I was adding my teal, I did add kind of separate splotches down here. You can see how it kind of trails off, not all connected, but I have some separated little blotches. So what I do is I actually put those on now. And then when I add my blue, I can kind of blend around them, cover it up slightly if I want, and then that way some teal is kind of showing through. So I'm going to make sure that I add those now. So I'm just doing a couple little brush strokes, a little more separated or maybe a little connected. Just kind of do whatever your brush lets you do. It kind of accidentally connected. So I said, okay, fine, it's connected now. But otherwise you can do some individual blotches of teal just to make it look like, again, things are trailing into one another, mixing together. And I'll kind of mess up this edge here a little bit more too. I'm just going to bring in some little piles of teal on the sides there. It really helps to be thinking about that, thinking of just moving things around, mixing it up, rather than doing straight lines and straight sections and stuff like that. Okay. And then before my teal dries, I'm once again going to do a similar method or the same method to the pink. That I was doing to the pink, I should say. I was adding white paint on top of my wet pink, and allowing it to mix in to create some different shades of pink. So I want to do the same thing with my teal just to give a little bit of variety. So I grabbed a little white on my brush. I'm going to streak it on top, move it around so it blends in slightly, but some of it hangs around so I get some nice light teal areas. So maybe I'll stick one over there. See how it just kind of shows up there? Maybe I'll put one kind of close to the edge. Even though we're putting our nice Milky Way type look over there, it's still nice to have a nice little light teal glow here and there. That would be nice to add. And then if you want, again, you can also do this with a little bit of a darker teal. So if you have teal on your plate, you can mix just a tiny bit more blue in there, tiny bit more yellow if you wish. And then same thing, you're just stroking that on top. Even if it turns out like a little more green, that would be kind of cool too, more of a green teal streak. I think that's what happened on mine here. So you can see that in there. It all works together, all makes it just nice and, again, galactic looking. It just gives it lots of nice variety of shades. Okay, I'll give everybody a minute or two until I see a few more thumbs. We see a couple already. But what we're doing next is we will be just moving down into our regular blues. Again, just a blue and white mixture, but we'll be doing lots of different shades in there to keep with that theme. The thumbs were there and then they stopped. Here they come. Here's a couple. It's funny how that happens, and there is a slight delay, I know, with when you press the thumb and when I see it, so it usually takes about 10 seconds. I'm sure they're gonna come right through. Here they are. A couple more. Perfect. Okay, I've seen enough thumbs. Let's go on to the next color. And again, if you're taking your time, you're still working on teal or a different color, just go at your own pace. These are all the same steps, just with different colors. All right, next is going to be this blue. So I would say the blue, while it's more of a plain color, it's just blue and white mixed together, I would say there's the most variety in here. I added lots of different kind of light blues, so stacking the white on top to create some light blue areas, dark blue areas. You can see lots of variety in here. So this is a nice big section. You have lots of room to play around, so really take that into account and do your best to play around with lots of different shades in there just to make it a little less boring, right? We just don't want a plain blue spot. We want it to be nice and mixed up with all its different shades. So I'm using that same brush, that medium-sized brush. You can wash it off whenever you're ready. And now I'm just mixing blue and white. So this is what we started with before we did the teal. It was just a blue and white mixture. I would call this more of a medium blue personally. Again, about half-half. But as I was just talking about, we will have lots of different shades eventually. So just mix whatever shade you want. We can always alter it as we go. We need more blue. Hopefully there's enough in here. Come on out, there we go. Okay, and whenever you're ready, you can start by applying this right along that teal edge. So once again, I will be blending this blue into the teal. So I try and keep these two sections a little more blended because there's not as much white in here. There might be a little bit kind of trailing down here, but definitely up here we want to be blending. So once again, I'm going to apply some blue. Not going to worry about applying all of my blue, just kind of anywhere surrounding edges of the teal. So even around your little splotches here. Just applying it, and then we'll use our brush to blend after we apply some paint. And we'll bring it down here as well. And once you have it applied, you can just wipe off your brush a little bit just so there's not a lot of blue hanging around. So your brush is able to pick up some blue and teal from your painting here. And once again, you can see I'm just doing some small back and forth strokes, trying to get some nice wet teal on my brush. Anything that's still wet around here, just kind of scraping along, trying to grab it and mix it into my blue, bring the blue up, bring the teal down, all of that good stuff. Around your blotches, it's the same idea. You're just kind of allowing the blue to mix in with your teal a little bit. It might close it up a little bit, but you can see it's all nicely blended now. And it looks more like it's just kind of naturally, lightly pulling through. The teal is pulling through the blue as best it can. And if I didn't say it before, if you ever find something isn't blending, it's just because the color might be a little bit sticky and dry. So you can always re-grab a color onto your brush just a little bit as needed, and then you can move it in between to help freshen up that paint. So it's probably your teal that's kind of drying on you if anything isn't working. So you can just grab a little extra teal on your brush and then brush in between a blue teal section to help blend it all together. So you can see my teal's kind of closed up a little bit, but they're still there. They're still hanging out in the blue section. And like I said, you can always re-add it. So maybe you want to brighten up those teals. I'll just show you just in case. Maybe that's what you're into. You can apply teal right on top again if you want to grow those sections a little more, make them a little bigger again. Right on top of where they were. There we go. And that way they're still applying softly because you have that wet blue around them now. Helps blend in as it goes. So all of this requires, I guess, a little bit of speed because you are trying to work with the paint as it's still wet. But again, you can always go at your own pace and reapply as you need. So for example, my teal was definitely too dry around here, so I'm just grabbing a little extra teal on my brush and then going into blend. And again, I really like this painting because even if it doesn't really blend, you still get some nice color stacking on top of one another. And that helps really show the viewer that colors are trying to combine and really overlapping one another. It's something I noticed when I was once again looking up references online, literal pictures from space. I saw lots of blending, but also lots of colors just overlapping, just trailing on top of one another. So all of it works out. See how these are kind of, yeah, they're not as blended, but you can still see they're mixing together a little bit, but more so, they're stacking on top of one another. So you get all these kind of swirls going on. Ooh. Yeah, love it, love it. So I'm just going to keep playing around in those sections a little bit longer. I think I want to combine those a little bit more, and then what I'm going to do is I'll focus on just the blue next. Lots of thumbs. Hey, Quinn, nice to see you. Not sure if you're watching on your phone again or if you can hear me, but still nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. So again, I'm really concentrating now on kind of stacking some color on top of one another. I'm bringing the blue up into the teal. Again, maybe it's mixing a little bit, but for the most part, it's kind of sticking on top, creating all these little trails of blue coming up to the teal. That would be cute, Kristen. What was I thinking of? I had a decent name and I still don't really want to name them. I don't know why. Oh, Star-Crossed Lovers is what I was thinking of because it's like the little stars, it's a little heart. Even though there's not two, I thought it was a nice kind of play on words there with the stars. And I may or may not have been watching the Hunger Games recently, so that's probably more what it was. But anyway, that was my thought there. That's a cute one. What else here? Oh yeah, I'll bring the teal down a little more, and then I'll move on to the blue section. Just a minute or two. just want to trail some teal into the blue a little bit more. Some lighter teals too. I feel like my teals are getting a little dark. I just don't like how kind of muddy they're starting to look, so I'm just stroking on some lighter teals. You can even stroke on some white if that's happening, just to lighten them up a little bit. That's probably why all my white is gone. Saw a couple thumbs there. I'll try and hurry up on my painting here. For those who haven't caught on, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I kind of like to go on top of things 5 different times until I am cool with it. Well, it was probably fine the first time. But again, I will move on in the next minute or so. There we go. That's some lighter teal. That's a lot better. I'm liking that a lot better. Just shows up a little bit nicer. Okay, thank you for your thumbs, everybody. Thanks for keeping me on track here. I could go all day, as I just said. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to concentrate on just the blue section. So I don't have to worry about blending. I've got that all done. I'm going to move down to just my blue, so my medium blue. So if you need to remix more, that was blue and white mixed together. I would say even amounts, but really any amounts will do because we'll just be, you know, adding different tones on top anyway in a minute or two. All right, and I'm covering up the rest of the canvas. Again, if you're like me and want to save paint, you could, you know, mark off generally where your little clip is going to go and avoid that. Otherwise, you are welcome to cover up the whole thing if you want to be super safe with your gaps. Or if you have different plans, maybe you're not doing the exact same thing as me, you might want to cover up everything for now and decide later. That's all fine. Still doing those back and forth motions, lots and lots of texture. And you might, of course, naturally be adding different tones of color as you go just by messily mixing on your plate like I do. I'm not worried too much about matching the exact color as I go, so you might, again, naturally be creating a little bit of a darker blue or a lighter blue. That all adds. It's all just things that you're doing now that you won't have to do later, so there you go. If you're a messy mixer, you're in luck today. Kellyanne, this color here, this color is just blue and white. And then if you're asking about the teal up here, that was blue, white, and a tiny bit of yellow in there. That's the only difference. It's still blues and whites, just the top teal has a little bit of yellow. Is this blue darker or the same? Oh, it's the same season, yeah. So whatever you were using to blend into your teal, just try your best to grab that similar to same color and bring it down. If it happens to get a little darker, that's okay, because we are going to purposely darken it and lighten it just like we were doing in the other sections. So it's not too crucial that you're matching it exactly. It's just if you have it on your plate still, you can use it up, or you can mix a little bit more of a similar shade, but still blue and white mixed together. That's okay, Jerry, I understand. It can be quite a time-consuming thing, huh? No liquids, just powder. But thanks for coming, Jerry. Are you painting again today? Are you drawing today? I think your butterfly drawing was a hit last time. Your own version. Let me know. I'm almost at the bottom, almost. I'm trying to go a little quick just again so I can blend on top of that wet blue, but this is a bigger section. Hopefully you're finding you're getting into a rhythm too. You're not just going slow now. Maybe you're going a little quicker. And hopefully you're learning it doesn't really matter where these brush strokes are going, right? They're all going all over the place. They're absolutely wild. Look at it go. So you can go nice and fast now. Okay, so once you have your blue on, again, I'm gonna go a little quick just so my blue is nice and wet to demonstrate. You can do the same thing that we were doing in the other sections using some whites or some blues this time to help lighten and darken the section to get some nice little swirls of color in there. So I've started with my blue just for fun right now rather than the white. And I'm just gonna pile on some regular phthalo blue. So it's like a dark blue, but it's just straight from the bottle color. And I'm putting that on top, bringing it in. You can bring it in a line or kind of swirl it around, bring it down. But again, I'm leaving some of it very prominent and then blending out the edges a little bit so it all kind of blends together into the blue. So see that? It just turns nice and dark in that area. You can add more if you want. You can cover it up if you don't like it. Again, it's really fun just to play around as this is all wet right now. You can just keep molding the colors together, moving them around. So there's a nice dark patch now. I'm gonna grab some white. I'll do a nice light patch. It looks like I lightened up the top here, so let's try that. Again, straight white on top, and then it mixes together. So starting from the middle and then just blending out as I go, touching into those other wet blue spots, blending them out. Now I've got a nice light patch there. Even though this is all blue, it now looks like there's lots of different colors kind of swirling around, working together. Pull out a little more white on the bottom. Yes, your usual dosage, Jerry. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's some white on the bottom. Whoops, I grabbed a little yellow. So I accidentally grabbed yellow, but oh well, because it just adds a little teal, right? Look at that. I'll just leave it like that. It looks fine. So if you accidentally dip into another color, again, all of these colors work very well together. So even if you hit pink by accident and throw it in your blue, it's just going to make a nice purple. So again, just kind of embrace whatever the brush decides to do today. It's been deciding a lot for me. So anyway, I'm going to keep mine like that. I'm liking the different kind of dark blues and light blues I'm seeing going on. So I'm good with that. I'll wait for a few more thumbs. Although the next step is actually a little bit of a break. So you don't really have to do your thumbs up whenever you're ready. I'm just going to do a little break time, let my painting dry a little bit, because I want it to be very nice and dry for when we do the white in the middle here. So it should already be mostly dry. Maybe it's a little bit sticky because we were doing our teal maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago. We've been, at this point, concentrating on just the blue. So for now, I'm just going to let it dry a little bit longer. Sometimes the paint can be a little bit tricky, and it might, you know, even feel dry, but there might be paint kind of below a little bit wanting to rise up when you start to do your nice dry brushing of white. So I'm just going to be extra safe today. All right, lots of little reactions. I assume you're all loving your paintings. Let me know in the comments if you have any quick questions, or maybe if you changed it up already, just let me know. I'm very excited to see what everybody's done so far. And if you're just liking this whole technique too, I'm curious if you're finding this tiresome. Maybe this is a little bit of a workout to be doing all of this wrist motion. My goodness, we've been doing that a lot. Or if you're finding it fun to kind of mix all these colors together. I'm curious if everyone's finding it. It's interesting creating my own paintings and then seeing how people are able to replicate them. So let me know. And yeah, maybe that was a typo. Oh, a boy outline, I see. I thought you said online. I was like, a boy online? What do you mean? Well, mine is, I guess, meant to be more of a little girl, but what you can do is just follow along with the steps I'm doing and, you know, change things up. If you want to change the hair, change the attire, whatever you want, you can. I'll kind of teach you how I shaped out the body, I guess, and made it look like this person is kind of leaning in a little bit. And then what you can do is change anything else about the silhouette. Again, the hair, attire, the size. Even if you want to make our silhouette a little bigger or smaller, you can. You can add more people. If you want to add another on the other side and really make it like star-crossed lovers and they're, you know, blowing kisses to one another, you can do any of that for sure, Anya. And hello, Jacqueline. Nice little wave from you. That's good, Jennifer. Okay. Thank you. That's really good to hear. I personally think it's fun. I'm just always curious what other people think about it, if it's a little frustrating or not working correctly. Always want to know. And I love galaxy painting. So if everyone's having fun with this one, that's the best, because that means I can maybe make a few more galaxy paintings. Of course, different subject matter, different colors and things, but lots of different possibilities with beautiful galaxy paintings. I mean, we were all talking about camping themes earlier, and I think a nice galaxy camping theme would be really, really nice together. So if you're liking this technique, I would love to hear it, just so I know whether to keep using it or not for future. Obviously, I want to be able to provide some variety, and I'm sure I can do that while still using, you know, galaxy themes here and there. But yeah, the wet on wet technique I find very, very fun to do, just mixing everything together, blending it all, making it nice and swirly. Julia's got some little heart emoji, or Julie's got a little heart emoji there, so that's nice. Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm very excited to see all these photos. I think these are going to be really, really cool. And I think this is my 4th time doing a live stream here, and I think this was probably the painting that got the most comments from people saying that they were excited for it, they loved it, so that was very encouraging and nice to see. Yeah, Mish, exactly. That's why I love this too, is because you can make it more streaky and it doesn't like totally get rid of the effect or get rid of the look. It all works together, so that's very good. Linda, I'll show you the brand I use. Everyone, I'm just going to give maybe a couple more minutes just to be very, very safe. Again, mine is dry, but I'm giving a couple minutes for you, and also just in case any paint is still wet underneath. And then Linda, if you want to know the brand I'm using, it's the Start Academic Acrylic. I buy this at Curry's Art Store in Ontario. I think it's all over Canada though. And yeah, it's just a value brand of paint. Again, the name Academic Acrylic kind of signifies that it's nothing fancy, nothing high quality, but it's more value. I think it's like $18 for the whole jug of 2 liters of paint. So that's what I'm using here. And I use 5 different colors. They are all pinned in the bottom and also in the top description up there. So you have a look whenever you're ready. Oh, I dropped some white there. Yikes, right on my mouse pad. Get that off. I want to drag my mouse into a pile of white. That would be good. Ooh, Charlene, yeah, so you could do a rainbow galaxy, exactly. As long as you're keeping certain colors away from one another, because certain colors might look a little muddy, but if you know kind of the rainbow order, very easy to do. You can just do rainbow all the way through. Good. I'm hearing a lot of you saying you're loving the technique. Awesome, that's great. And yeah, Mish, I could try and run and grab my hair dryer, but again, I think mine's pretty dry here. If anyone feels like theirs is very wet, just at the border of the pink, purple, teal area, then yes, a hair dryer would be quite useful. Oh, they aren't, Mish? That's surprising. Although, I'm not sure if I've heard that Curry's is doing curbside. I just know they're doing online delivery, so if you wanted to order online and then have it delivered to your home, I know they're doing that. I hear that all the time. But I am still surprised they wouldn't offer a curbside type deal like Michael's, just because that's been working so well. Yeah, Bernadine, that's a good word. It's very forgiving. Exactly. Awesome. And yeah, I do find the white really adds to it as well. So while these colors are all beautiful, to really make it kind of the galaxy Milky Way type look, the white was very, very necessary in my opinion. and it does help kind of break things up a little bit more too. So if you have any areas that you thought mixed a little bit too much or got even just a little muddy almost, if you mixed a bunch of colors together in one area, the white will help kind of put that backwards, hide it a little bit, and just make it look a little more smooth and blended all together. Yeah, Mish, I'm trying to think if anyone confirmed Curry's doing curbside. Anyway, I know they're shipping online, although it does take a few weeks from what I've heard. Quite a few. I've got lots of orders coming in, I guess. All right, so just as a time check, we'll do like one more minute just to be very, very sure. If you want to prep your plate, you can grab some white paint. That's what we'll be using next. So you can get a nice fresh pile of white. You can make sure your brush is nice and washed off. We're using the same one, that nice medium-sized round brush. Okay, maybe that's why. Maybe their whole store is just closed. Maybe they don't have any employees there. That would make sense too. Yeah, otherwise online is good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if Michael's is doing it, why not? They seem to have that all figured out very well, very efficient, very safe, all good things. Okay, so I'm just really wiping off my brush here. So I think I've mentioned before, but just in case I haven't, if you have dirty paint water, you can keep using it. I know some people like to refresh their water, and there's no trouble with that. It just means kind of getting up and doing that. And I'm not going to be getting up from here, so I'm using the same water the whole time. And as long as you're really squeezing out the paint water from the brush, so you're really using a towel or a paper towel to squeeze out that dirty water, even though your brush might look a little blue, this is because mine's been used so often, but yeah, it should be fine as long as you're getting the dirty water out. It'll be nice and clean despite using a very dirty cup of water, very blue-gray water. Okay. Okay, Wendy, you can always stack more color on too now if things are dry and you have certain areas that you want to either blend more or just re-add color to. You can certainly do that now. Cool, cool, cool. Right, Heather, yeah. And I'm sure maybe, Heather, maybe you have some spots that are dry. You can just avoid the wet spots, and it's even just in here. We're not even worried about over here. I have lots of wetness over here. It's just the teal border with all the other pinks and purples. That's, yeah, I was thinking of you, Heather, when I was saying quite a few weeks. I remember just a couple days ago you saying that your order came in, so there you go. But worth it when it comes. It's really nice, especially if you're ordering the big academic acrylic bottles. Those will last you a while, I think. Okay, everybody, so on to the step. We've washed off our medium-sized round brush, and I've grabbed some white paint on it. You can see it right there. And what I'll be doing is using just a little bit of paint. So after grabbing this big blob, I'm actually going to tap it off on my towel so there's only a little bit left. So this time there's no big blobs. It's just kind of like coating the bristles a little bit. You can still see lots of space in the bristles. There's no big blobs of paint in there. And what I'm doing is I'm using a dry brushing technique. So what I like to do is I like to first tap on the white just right in between my purple and teal. So anywhere where you have any harsh edges, I'm just tapping it on like this, and I'm trying to remove most of the paint from my brush. So it's going to look harsh at the start. Again, even though I wiped off some white, there's still lots in there. I think you'll be surprised if you've never done this technique before, how much white can be hiding in your brush. You can see I trailed all the way down, even though I wiped it off on my towel and tried my best to get rid of it. Once I have this little trail of white, now my brush is pretty clean, and if it isn't, I would just wipe it off a little extra just so there's no, again, white hiding anywhere. Now what I do is I kind of use my brush to tap on the edges of the white, and it helps soften up those edges so it no longer looks like a big blob of white in there. I'm trying to blur out the two sides, so maybe it stays a little brighter right in the middle, but the edges now soften up a ton. See that starting to happen there versus over here. Here it's just little blotches of white, and over here it's more of a blended out white. So I'm doing that all the way along the edge here, making sure I'm doing that before the white dries, of course. You should have at least a couple minutes, so that's why I work section by section. I kind of applied paint, Now I'm blending it out. Again, very different to my usual. Usually I put it all on first and then blend it out. So this is just the start. We don't want to keep it even this thin. I'll be actually expanding it more and more and more. If you really compare how much white and how thick it is up here compared to what I just did, I'll be doing this technique a few times in this one section to really spread it out, make some thicker, lighter areas, keep some areas thinner, because we do have some thin areas. That helps kind of split this up a little bit. It doesn't make it look like it's overtaking the whole area. It's going to be a little bit more split up. So when I've done the first part, I'm going to do that again a second time. You can add it in the same area, or you can make it a little bit wider now. So maybe I'll bring it out here into the purple a little extra. But sometimes I like to even just overlap a second time to really brighten up the middle, and then try my best to blend out even further once I do that. So again, I'm tapping my brush. You can even kind of swirl your brush if that helps you. Tapping and swirling anything that's just going to carry a little bit of paint onto your canvas. Again, dry brushing is the technique here. It even sounds dry. There you go, Heather. There's that paint ASMR for you, and anyone else who enjoys. Yeah. Some may find that sound pleasant, some may not, so I'll stop right there. But again, you can see how, once again, slowly it comes together. It's not going to work the very first time. It's going to look a little bit off, but you're just continuing to tap on a little more paint, and then either tap or swirl it out so it gets a little bit thinner, a little bit more transparent, and leaves behind a nice bright center. So I guess that's another thing to point out. You can see how the center is becoming brighter and brighter, but I'm keeping the edges soft. That way it looks like there's quite literally a galaxy in there, a big cluster of stars that's making it super, super bright in the middle, and then just kind of fades out on the edges. So I'm still tapping a little extra. Again, I'm only using small amounts of paint at a time, and then I can move it further out as I go. In terms of how I'm moving it out, you can see I'm doing a variety of things. I'm trying to just widen out the area in general, so you can just kind of swirl along the edge to make that whole area wider, or you can start to kind of split things up into these trails. That's what I'm calling them, kind of trails of white or trails of stars. Makes it look like it's all kind of splitting away, going in different areas. And to end them off, you're just kind of softly rubbing on the sides here just to make it look like they kind of disappear into the purple, or the purple kind of eats up the light, like that. That was, again, another thing I noticed when looking up reference photos online, how these things really like to split apart. All these little pieces of the galaxy, they all split apart. You can kind of see them up there. They almost look like little lightning bolts kind of, you know, striking outside of the main area here. So if you want to think of them that way, that's fine. And I do use this brush the whole time, but if you find it easier to use maybe a small detail brush for especially these little parts here, you totally could try that, just using a small amount of paint, rubbing the bristles, same as you're doing with this brush, and that'll work as well. So again, you can see I like to really do a couple kind of thinner lines, and just with a very small amount of paint so it looks like it's still coming off nice and soft. I would avoid doing this with lots of paint. You might get more of just kind of streaks here and there, and it might look a little off. As long as you're keeping it with just small amounts of paint, kind of rubbing or tapping, that'll all work out fine. I love your contributions, Jerry. Thank you. I feel like the sprinkling is going to come next. Sprinkling is really the stars. Throwing of confetti. It's going to be the star step later. So once again, if I can make one suggestion, it's to look at one section at a time, especially with this white Milky Way galaxy. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and say, oh, I need to keep moving down. I need to go to the sides. Just try and look at one small area at a time. That's why I'm still working up here. I've kind of chosen this first quarter just to kind of look at, really blend out, make wider, small amounts at a time. But I mean, that is just what worked for me. If you're someone who likes to kind of cover up the whole edge first and then kind of work your way down, see how things look as you go, I'm sure that would be fine as well. But that was something that I really learned with this one. Just looking at one thing at a time really helped me get a little less stressed about everything. And again, I've really gone back in the middle a few times now. I would say 4 or 5 times, kind of retapping some white to make it nice and bright and to get a nice contrast between that bright middle area and the kind of light cloudy areas around it. And another good tip, I guess, as well, you saw me bring this back a little bit. That's just to help me see everything all together. Sometimes it's a little hard to see what's going on when you're looking this close to your painting because you're painting nice and close and you're saying, that's not looking like anything. What is that? It looks like a hot mess. And then when you pull it back, you're like, oh, okay. All right. And you get to see everything kind of molding together, working together. So every now and then you can step back from your painting, take a photo of it with your phone. That'll help you get a nice small condensed version as well. It'll help you see everything nice and pulled together. Do that at any time that you're feeling like things are looking a little messy. Try taking a little photo of it or just stepping back to see how it's looking in total. It'll help you point out things too. It'll help you kind of see things that might look a little off. Maybe it's a big bright spot or maybe it's like one little trail that you're not liking. That way you can go back and concentrate on that spot and either cover it up or add more, whatever you need to do. Okay, I'm going to keep working my way down. I think I'm good with the top part, so I'm just going to start again here with a little bit of white, tapping in between the purple teal or the pink teal. Again, trying to really wiggle my brush in and out as I go, so I'm not trying to make a straight line. Even though it's all coming down this way, it's still coming in and out as it goes. And again, you can leave some sections a little bit thinner just to kind of break it up. I think that's what I'm going to do in this area. I'm not going to expand it quite as much as I did up here. I think I'll try and keep it a little thinner. I'll use a little more of the trailing technique to trail some of the white out instead of thickening up the base. And that'll help just make it, again, a little different than up top here. Again, tapping or rubbing my brush, any of the above. Again, kind of like lightning bolts, how it kind of becomes a little bit smaller, thinner as it comes down, striking right there. Then I'll make another big bright spot maybe after that. And let's have a look at mine here. Oh, and it looks like, I'll just point out as well, you can definitely trail way into the color too. I haven't done that quite yet. I've done these small little trails of the faded white, but if you want, you can create kind of brand new areas of this galaxy kind of bolting off into a different spot. Looks like I did that in between the teal and blue area. Maybe I was covering something up I didn't like, who knows? But I'll just demonstrate just in case you want to see. It's the same thing. I'm just kind of tapping a little bit of white on just to figure out where I want to go. So it's a little brighter in the middle. And then wiping off my brush, and I'll blend that out a little bit more just to soften it up. So now it's a nice big area that's starting to come out into the other colors. So it does not need to stay at that pink, purple, teal border. It can definitely come out, mixed together, or on top of other colors as well. And anywhere that you don't like, you can just move that on top and no one needs to know what's underneath. Nice little secret for just you. Yeah, and I'll keep it like that just to demonstrate. So still spending a little more time on this. You can, again, just keep taking your time. This is a very patience-oriented step where we're just kind of doing the same thing, adding a little more color, rubbing it around. There's no real shortcut to this because it's all dry brushing, just using small amounts of color. So just remember that. Take a little more time. Hopefully you're enjoying it and just kind of getting lost in the steps as we go. I think I'll spend about a couple more minutes on this just as a time reference there. So if you're adding kind of a bigger, I would say, cluster of galaxy here rather than a trail, it's more of just a big blotch of white that maybe trails off on the edges. I find it very important to keep going back and adding a little bit of extra white in the middle. It really helps just brighten up that center, shows the viewer how very full it is of stars. And then it just kind of trails off softly. And again, it'll make the outside appear a little softer if you have a brighter middle, right? Because your eye will be drawn more to the middle and the outsides will just appear a little more soft due to the bright middle. So I was trying to replicate my example over there. I did a little bit of that in here and really sprawled it out into the pink. Again, if you would like to keep things a little bit tighter, you certainly could. But again, this is just another method to help break things up a bit, to make it look like it's less of a line and more so of just a scattered Milky Way type galaxy. Nice big piece there. Okay, and I think I'll work just a little bit more on it. I think I want to touch up maybe the border a little here. And I think I'll bring some down a little down here, just like I did in my reference up there. So a couple more minutes. I think I said that earlier, but we'll do another couple minutes. We don't have too much left. We got some stars, our silhouette. Really clean it all up. And the stars, oh, I can't wait for the stars. The stars always make the biggest difference in these galaxy paintings. It kind of splits everything up again. Makes, again, everything look a little more kind of diluted in the background, and the stars just gives it an extra kick. It's so, so nice to add. They are so nice to add. And stars will be the messy technique today, so if you haven't already, I would just make sure you've got a space where you don't mind getting a little bit messy if you want to get messy with these stars as well. So just as a heads up, we'll be doing that very soon. tiny bit more. Feel free to throw some thumbs ups if you are already. I'm not sure how much time you want to do this white galaxy technique for. I'm not sure how everyone's feeling, so just let me know how things are going. And of course, as usual, if there's any questions, please let me know. If something's not quite working out, you can let me know and maybe let me know how it's looking so I can help. I saw a few little thumbs there. That's great. No worries, Cheryl. Yep, just keep taking your time. Maybe you'll give an extra minute or two once I'm good with mine. And that way you can keep swirling around, blending, whatever you're working on there. Okay. So again, it's not going to be the exact same. I tried my best to get some of the main elements out here, like this white spot in the pink here. I brought a white spot out in the teal blue area. But maybe I can give you a nice close-up just so you can really see what it's looking at, like very close up here. So you see there might be some areas of my border that kind of peek through, maybe like right here. If you look very close, you can see the teal and pink that haven't really blended, but that's okay. It's all enough that it doesn't look like anything's harsh. It's all mostly covered up. Maybe here, for example, totally fine. Okay. All right, Mish. I'm not sure if your white is dry, but you can just make sure you're using your clean brush now and trying your best to spread out what you have. If you're meaning the thick paint. If you mean the white is too thick, that'll be even easier. You can just let the white dry and you'll be able to go on top with colors that you want to kind of bring back in. So if it's the purple, you can use the purple either just nice and wet like we were doing before and kind of stroke it on top. And then you would wait for that to dry and then re-add some softness of the white. Or you could dry brush with color as well. You could use a little bit of purple on your brush, kind of rub it on top of the white. That would be kind of cool because what that'll do is it'll create a nice light purple kind of galaxy look. So it'll close up the white so it doesn't look quite as thick, but it will keep a nice kind of glow of a nice light purple coming out too. So you can do either option there. Got a thumbs up from Emily, that's great. Give another minute or so just to see how many more thumbs come through. Again, next we'll be working on that nice messy, messy technique. Okay, so yeah, those are my suggestions there. You could either, what did I say? Oh yes, cover it up with just the regular strokes of color we were doing. So using, for example, purple on your medium-sized brush, doing the back-forth motion, just literally covering up what you don't want, waiting for that to dry, and then you can go on top with a small amount of white just to soften up the edge that may have formed if you cover it up. Or you can try dry brushing with purple or any other color just by rubbing the brush right on top of your white. And I was saying before, you might still see the white through, but it'll create more of a nice light purple on there. Yeah, I would try that, Mish, and if you don't like how that looks, then you can go in with more of the color and just literally cover it. But I would try the dry brushing first. I think you might find that you like that. It might give a little bit of a different look because you'll have kind of the white galaxy and then more of like light purples or light pinks, etc. But I think that would look really nice. It'll just kind of make it look like you were blending, you know, just like earlier with the nice white on top here. It'll just look more like that rather than covering it all up. But enough that it closes it in. I'm glad, Heather. I'm happy to give another minute or two. I'm seeing a good mixture of thumbs ups versus behind. Yeah. Perfect, Mish. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Again, I'll give another minute or two. Again, I'm seeing a good mixture of thumbs ups and also maybe a couple more minutes. But we'll keep it moving here. And if anyone has any other questions, you can definitely let me know. But hopefully, for the most part, you're enjoying. I can't wait to see the stars on again. The stars, it even helps kind of the white galaxy look. So for those who might think this looks a little prominent right now, because we add white stars all around, it'll kind of once again break it up, pull your eye away a little bit, because all the white will next be scattered everywhere rather than very centralized. You will see. Okay, I'm seeing a few more thumbs. Let's start washing off our brushes just to prepare. I'll talk about the next step, so if anyone's still working, you still got a minute or two, and then we will actually go for it. All right, so next step is really putting the galaxy in the galaxy. So all of these nice, beautiful stars to really cover up the whole thing. Look how many there are. There's no way that I put these all on manually one at a time. I was flicking them on. So that's why I said this is going to be a bit of a messy step. What we're going to do is use a watered down white paint and literally flick it on with our brush just to create a nice sporadic galaxy of stars all around, all around. We will be using white paint on our baby bear brush for things like these, of course, our nice bright twinkly stars, and of course the trail of stars later. But for now, we're just concentrating on messy stars. We'll do all the nice bright ones later on. Okay, so you can take your medium-sized round brush. I like this one for splattering. You can see the bristles are long, so you can flick them, but they're not too long if they're going to go everywhere. And what I'm going to start with is dipping my brush in a little bit of water and swirling it on top of some white paint. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to water down the white paint so it's a little more liquidy. I'm trying to show you without it dripping off my plate, which has happened before, so I've learned my lesson. But I'm just dipping off camera here into my water, maybe tapping it off once or twice just so it's not dripping all over me as I bring it forward, and then mixing it into a little pile of white. So maybe you can see, maybe not, but it's getting a little more liquidy. Just gonna move my painting into the splatter zone here, and then we can start to splatter. Let's carefully move it over. Gave Bob a nice paint job while I was at it, apparently. Sorry, Bob. I'll clean you up in a second. So again, I have that liquidy white paint on my brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get nice and close to my canvas. I can use my index finger. I'm going to pull back on the bristles, and then I'll literally let them fly onto the canvas like that. So I'm going to flick. Just see that? That was one flick. Here's what happened. Ooh, it's just the start. It's just the start. So I'm going to grab a little more paint. You can probably flick maybe 2 or 3 times each. You can just experiment, see how much you can do. Oh, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this is a good liquidy white there. Just the beginning. Just the beginning. I'm going to do more here. I'm going to grab a little more water, swirl into a little more white, and I'll keep going. Ooh. Messy but worth it. So you can experiment with how liquidy you're making your white. If you are having trouble with anything kind of flicking off, you can try using a little more water or using a little less water, kind of using more paint when you swirl on your plate. How close, Linda? Good question. I'm trying to get nice and close. I'll try and show you from this angle. How about here? I go about here. And the reason I get close is just for the matter of messiness. You could flick from far away to get more scattered stars, but honestly, I just don't want it to flick everywhere, so I try to get nice and close. You can even see sometimes I move my arm on the side just to help shield a little bit from any kind of side splashing here. So far it's been successful. But yeah, nice and close just to cut down on the messiness, I would say. Some people also like to flick by doing this method where they use kind of a hand as a brace and they go tap like that. The reason I don't do that is I did that once in this area, and I had so many splatters on my computer screen right here because I think I was going back forth, right? I was going, so that's the reason I don't do it. If you like that method, go for it. Just be aware of backsplash. It's a real thing. It was all over my computer. It was black paint I was splattering. It wasn't for stars, it was for just like a nice random background, I guess, the nice black splatter. Anyway, it was not fun to see when I turned around, so that's the reason I don't do that. But If that works for you, that's fine. Toothbrushes help as well. Some people like to use old toothbrushes and just kind of use their thumb or their forefinger to do the same thing, just kind of flicking. Emily, nothing is coming off. Try using a little extra water. I find sometimes when nothing's coming off, it's usually because it's a little thick rather than a little thin. So try using a little more water on your brush, kind of dip in the water, swirl into your pile of paint that you've been using, and see if more comes off. Try and get closer to the canvas too. You might see more if you get a little bit closer, just because there's more chance that the splatters are ending up on your canvas and not somewhere that you don't know about. And Diane, I'm using my medium round brush, the same brush we've been using pretty much the whole time here. And I was saying I like that because it has long enough bristles that you can flick them, but they're a little more contained, a little more bunched up. So they're not going to go absolutely everywhere. The stars, that is. I'm just going to do this a couple more times. I could probably go all day doing this because I love adding lots and lots of stars, but don't want to go literally all day, so I'll try my best to stop in a minute here. Let's do one more round. You might get some stars kind of coming off in little lines depending on how they splatter. If you're not a fan, you can of course grab a little bit of your background color to cover that up. If you don't mind it, you can of course leave it. I think those are cool. It makes it look kind of like constellations a little bit. You can purposefully add constellations later if you want. It's always a nice, fun idea. Oh, nice, Mish. I'm glad that worked. Yeah, and if anything, Mish, I'm sure that may be added to your painting because now you have probably more shades and more kind of layers in there. It might make it look a little more, again, just blended together with lots of different shades. I'm just going to bend down to use my towel on the ground. Quite a messy step, but again, totally worth it. Here's what mine's looking like. It's totally covered now, and you can see what I mean. It almost kind of splits up the white galaxy right in the middle here. It makes it look like it's kind of really trailing off everywhere because your eye is now looking at all these beautiful stars as well. So it's another white element to kind of pull yourself away from the middle. I'm going to carefully move this forward. Inch, inch, inch. There we go. Okay, once again, I'll give another quick minute. I'll just wait for a few more thumbs to make sure we're all dried off and ready to go. If you have a little paint on your hands, that's totally normal. And Diane, that was the medium round brush. Medium round. This one here. So the same brush we've been using pretty much the whole time. Just medium size, round, so all the bristles kind of come to the middle there. All right, here's some thumbs coming in. Just to let you know, the next step is actually going to be the silhouette. We can do the silhouette all together. And then the last step is going to be going in with white to add our little twinkly stars and our nice trail of stars and a nice little heart going all the way up. But yeah, Diane, that's the one you're using. Mine is super messy now because all of that wet white kind of just came right down the handle. But that's okay, it's expected. Okay, a couple more thumbs. All right, you can get ready by adding some black to your plate. If you haven't already, we don't need a whole lot. As I said earlier, we have a pretty small silhouette going on, so not a whole lot is needed. Whoa. That's some paint falling over. There we go. Okay. Okay, so for the silhouette, I'll bring it closer so you can have a nice look. Yeah, haha, it's just a mess over here, isn't it? Okay, so I've got my nice black silhouette. So what I did is I did a kind of like a cliff kind of coming up like this. I actually looked up references from the Lion King for this one. I did an initial cliff. It was way too flat, and I was like, I need something slanted, like the Lion King, Pride Rock, and that's what I looked up for this. It's just a nice slanted, kind of pointed rock. There's an idea. You could put Simba on the top if you wanted rather than the silhouette of the girl. There you go. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do here. Nice slanted, kind of cliff rock edge, and then I'll lead you through the little person here with a nice small brush. So for now, I'm using this medium-sized brush just for the cliff, just so I can get some smoother edges. I find it a little bit easier to use that brush. That's a good thing, Michelle. Hopefully just not everywhere like in your home. You need a splatter zone like me if that's the case. That's why I made this, because I was sick of finding paint on my walls unexpectedly. So again, that medium-sized brush, I'm using black paint. You can see I left a little gap here. If you have Galaxy everywhere, that's fine. This will go right on top. So I'm starting close to the corner. You can always make this a little smaller if you're a little nervous about how wide or how long to make it. Start small, and then you can always make it bigger on either edge or the length here. But I'm starting close to the corner, just kind of bumping my brush a little bit as I slant upwards. So this is slanting a little bit upwards. I have to climb a little bit of a hill to get to the tip here. And I try my best to bring this to a nice tip at the edge here. So again, you can see a slightly kind of rough surface, a little bit of a bumpy walk. And then on the bottom edge, same thing, it kind of just comes down close to that bottom right corner. You can end it off a little bit wider, maybe a little bit further away over here. But same thing, I try to bump my brush a little bit as I go along, just to make some jagged rock edges. So even if you want to do that a second time, kind of come in and out with your brush as you go up. Even using the tip to make some very jagged pieces kind of coming out. So out and back in. You know, like little pieces have maybe fallen off. You can do that. Feel free to fill it in at any point just to see how it's looking all together. And then you can, again, always go back if you need to help you know, rough up some edges, make the tip a little bit pointier, whatever you'd like to do. There we go. So anything like that, again, you can see it kind of slants upward, just a nice rocky, rough surface all over the place here. Just little bumps with your brush or little points, little edges as it comes out further. Use mine as reference. Don't worry about getting it exact. I'll give a quick minute in case anyone's working on that. Circle of life. I can totally just see it. I can totally see Rafiki right here with little Simba. Here we are, Animal Kingdom. So one little thumb. For those who are ready, you can start just prepping by getting your nice detail brush out, grabbing a little bit of black. That's what we'll be using for the nice silhouette, just to keep it nice and small. Here come a couple, here come a couple more. Nice job. Okay. Great, great, great. So we're going to go on to the nice little silhouette now. Like I keep saying, please feel free to change it up if you want to get a little creative and add your own twist on this. It would be very easy for you to do something different. If I can help you, I'm happy to try. But what I usually recommend is if you want to do something like an animal, for example, or just a different, you know, shape on here, go to Google, type in whatever you want, silhouette, lion, silhouette, little boy, silhouette, anything like that, and Google Images will give you lots of good references. And what you can do is just try your best to break it down into shapes. Again, don't try and look at the whole thing and get overwhelmed. Just look at one piece at a time. Here's a little circle. Here's a little triangle. Here are two lines. You know, just looking at it just piece by piece and then replicating as close as you want. Okay, but I'll teach you how to do the little girl silhouette here. So that's exactly what I did, is I broke it down into shapes. I looked at this part first, the head. Actually, I did create this from memory. I looked at references of people kind of leaning, and I actually looked at myself in a mirror leaning, kind of blowing a kiss to try and line things up. So anyway, that's what I did. I did a circle for the head, or an oval for the head. I then did a little stick kind of coming down to the left just to show myself the lean. And then what I did is I gave it the dress on top. I did 2 little lines for the legs. I did 2 angled lines for the feet and ankles, because I imagine the girl is like tiptoe kind of leaning over. So that's what I did there. And then I just do 1 little arm kind of bending down and up, and the hand is just a little brush stroke coming out, so it looks like the wrist is very bent and the hand is coming like that. Otherwise, just some hair to clean it up, and that's all. So I'll do those just 1 step at a time with you. So you can choose, first of all, the height of your silhouette by where you're going to put the head. Measurements. I'd say I'm about 3 to 4 fingers up. If you want to use your fingers as a measurement, you can do 3 or 4 fingers up from the bottom of the cliff here. Here, I'll measure, and then I'll go ahead and do it. Let's do like 3.5. I personally put my little girl a little off of the cliff here, not quite at the very edge. I wanted to keep her safe. I didn't want her on her tippy toes right at the very edge, so I brought her back a little bit. Honestly, I thought of that as I was doing it. I was like, I did not want her at the very, very tip. I don't want that thing to break off, so I'm going to keep her a little more safe over here. And there's more room for stars. But anyway, I was thinking mostly of her safety. So I'm starting with a nice oval or egg shape, just for the head. And really all you're worried about is the right-hand edge. You're not really looking at the left-hand edge or the bottom, because even the bottom gets covered up, and the left-hand edge will get some hair on it. So it's really just kind of cleaning up the right-hand side, making sure that's a nice clean edge all the way around, just by using paint on your brush, going all the way around that side there. Making sure, again, it's nice and clean. So that edge there, this edge, it can be wonky, it can be rough, it doesn't matter, because the hair will go there a little bit later. And Kelly Ann, oh yeah, Mish was having that issue too. So I was suggesting she could dry brush some color on top of the white. So for example, if it's in the pink area, just grab a little bit of pink on your brush and kind of rub it on top of the white. That'll help dilute it a little bit, so it won't completely cover it up and make a harsh edge. It'll just kind of softly cover it up, and that way you can control how much you're covering up here and there. Okay, great guys, so we've got a nice head on here. So what I did next, again, I created a nice angled line. So I'm not worried about the actual dress or the body. I'm just creating an angled line coming down. I don't want to come all the way. I need room for the legs. But what I was trying to do was show myself how this person is leaning. So rather than making a dress coming straight down, I wanted to make sure this person was leaning over. And I found creating a nice line just to show myself that really helped me. So again, I'm bringing about halfway down in between the head and the cliff here, so I have room for some legs, which I will add next. I like to get kind of the limbs on, and then I'll do the dress, but I do leave, I guess, the arm for last. Okay, so nice angled line, so that was coming from the bottom middle of the circle or oval down to the left. Okay, and oh, black paint whipping off. Do you mean wiping off, Diane? I'm kind of wiping the edge of the brush on the edge of my plate just to get some bristles kind of lining up. That's not a great example because my bristles are all bendy, but you can see they kind of line up by wiping on the edge of my plate, but that's all I'm doing there. Okay, so once I have this angled line down, now I know where my legs want to start. They're going to start again a little to the left where this line ends because this person is leaning. So I'm just going to do 2 very, very thin lines to start, and then I'll kind of thicken them up a little bit. So I'm bringing them for the most part straight down. And I'm leaving a tiny gap at the bottom there because I'm going to do some feet that are kind of angled. Again, this one's on her tippy toes. So I'm starting just with 2 straight lines coming down anywhere from that end of that line that we created there. The only thing I add to these straight thin lines is a little bit more black paint up near the top where the thighs are. And then they get a little thinner as they come down. Very delicate looking silhouette. I just want to keep it all very delicate, clean looking. So you can see I thicken them up just a little bit at the top. And we'll cover those up in a minute with our dress. So really in the end, you're not going to be seeing the very top. It's really just going to be the bottoms mostly. Okay, and then on the bottom, we've got our little feet and ankles. So all I did for that is I just did some lines angling down to the right, coming from the ankles. So looking like they're on the tippy toes there. You might see a little bit of a heel on the left-hand side because you have the kind of balls of your heel there if you're on your tippy toes. So these might extend a little to the left of the ankles, just a little bit. But otherwise, for the most part, these are just strokes with your brush coming down to the right, so it looks like this person's on their tippy toes. Nice and small, just nice and delicate looking. Once I've got those on, then I can put a little dress on here. So the dress is really just a kind of flowing looking triangle. So I really like to kind of flow it out to the left because again, leaning over, so you'll kind of have the back part kind of flaring up a little bit more. So I kind of do a nice curve starting from the neck and I come down to the left. So again, kind of flaring out at the back. You can bring it down to the right to kind of cover up the tops of those legs there. Close up that area. And then the right-hand side, it stays a little more kind of straight. It doesn't really flare up as much because you're leaning over this way. So I'm bringing more of a angled line down just slightly to the left to meet up with that bottom piece of the dress. So in the end, it's kind of like a triangle. It's kind of like a rounded or slightly off triangle, nothing equal here. They're all kind of different sizes along the edges. Some are a little curved, as you can see. But that's the basic premise there, trying to do a nice kind of flared up dress on the back so it really looks like you're leaning over, and more of a straight front side. Almost there. We got the arm and then the hair just to fill up this back part here. Okay, I'll go ahead and do the arm. So just like the legs, the arm is very thin and just a little delicate looking. So I'm just starting from the kind of bottom of the circle, maybe a little lower, so kind of where your shoulder would be, just right below your head there. I'm going to do an angled line down to the right. I would say it comes down almost to halfway down the dress, not quite, so just resting a little above halfway, down to the right. And then I very abruptly do a nice bend coming up to the right. It comes a little higher than where it started because she's bringing her wrist up like this. And then just one small little stroke kind of coming out to the right for the little hand off of the arm. Once again, I'm trying to keep it all very thin, but if you want, you can touch up just by making the forearm a little bit wider, of course. So I'm just making it a little thicker up here. You can round out the elbow a little bit if you want. And then I'm trying to keep up here a little bit thinner. I'm going to make her hand a little bit bigger. I think it looks a little small. I'm just going to extend it a little more. See that there? So it's bent like that, so it comes up a little higher at the wrist. Okay, and then the last step is I just add some hair kind of flowing from the left. So all I'm doing is I'm grabbing black paint. Again, I'm kind of wiping my brush on the edge of the plate just to line up the bristles a little bit more so I get some thinner lines. And these are just lines coming down to the left from the back of the head. I found it helpful to make some longer hairs, kind of, you know, just like regular hair, closer to the bottom here. And then as I got further up, I just made sure to shorten them a little bit so it looks like the hair is kind of layered a little bit. So it kind of comes down on an angle, but you still see some individual hairs coming out as you get further down. Maybe a little shorter on its way back up just along the back there. So it's kind of right in the middle here that starts to get very, very long. You can see very quickly what I did there is I really covered up everything except for the very tip. So just nice thick hair kind of blowing in the wind. And if you want, you can extend a few more tips out a little further just by using the edge of your brush. I don't want to do this too much. I don't want to make it look totally scraggly, but it helps kind of separate little pieces so it doesn't look like just a big blob on the back. There we go. I just fill up the top of the head a bit more. Okay. So here's a nice close-up of what I've got. I think my hair got a little thick, honestly. I think I could have maybe kept it a little further in on the top here. I think I brought it all out a little bit thick. Big head of hair. If you did the same thing, you can always go in with some teal or blue once the black dries and literally just give it a little haircut. Just kind of chop up the hair a little bit wherever you need. I'll give you a comparison to my other silhouette just so you can see what I mean. See, it looks like on this one here, I kept the hair just a little tighter to the head. I think it looks a little cleaner that way, so just so you know. And you can do that with any part of this silhouette if you want to fix anything up or kind of erase anything. You'll just need to wait for the black to dry, and then you can go on top with any of your background colors, the teal, the blue, whatever's close by, and that'll help really clean it all up and just shape up anything that you weren't a big fan of, you know? Okay, so I'm just going to give a minute or two. If anyone has questions, again, let me know. We just have one final step left, just adding some twinkly stars and the little trail of white stars for the nice little heart. A nice little trail coming off of the wrist and the hand. I think I'll do the twinkly stars first, and then we'll do the little trail. Oh, good. You're all ready. Excellent. You guys are just so quick. Okay, so let's do some little twinkly stars first. So the twinkly stars up here, you can see I added a few up here. I just added them anywhere I wanted. You don't need to follow the exact spots. It was just to literally twinkle up the sky, make it a little more filled up, kind of up here rather than just down here. So I'm just going to grab white paint on my small detail brush there. And once again, I wiped it on the edge of my plate just to try my best to line up the bristles, or else mine will be all scattered all over the place. And the twinkly stars, all they are just two lines intersected. I do a nice long vertical line, or longer vertical line. It's still very short, as you can see, but it's longer. And then I do a smaller horizontal line going through the middle. I really like that shape for a twinkle rather than doing the same size. I think it looks a little extra twinkly when one line is a little bigger and one is a little shorter to complement it. So I did that just a few times. You can see maybe I do a couple in the same spot. That one's a little tilty, that's okay. Do one right here. And they're all pretty small in my opinion, but you can definitely alter the sizes a little bit. Here's an even smaller one, just a little more delicate. And I did do one or two stars that had a couple more lines intersecting. So If you want, you can turn one of these into a very twinkly star just by adding a couple diagonal lines through. And now it really sparkles off of there. So I did maybe one or two of those, not too many. I like to stick to just the 2 lines for most of them. So I'll just add a couple, and then we're going to do that last little bit, the little trail of stars. And again, now is a fantastic chance to get creative. You could do, like I said earlier, some constellations with these twinkly stars if you want to arrange them in a certain order. I didn't do any shooting stars up here, but you could easily try out one of those if you want to do a little light white trail coming through a star. Just a few ideas for you. All right, there's a couple. So again, I did not fill up a whole lot with this. I just wanted to add a couple to the upper area of the painting just so it wasn't totally left behind. And then we still have our nice trail of stars to do. That'll be our very last step, which is coming up next. Bring this forward so you can have a nice close-up look at it. My nails match my painting. Ooh, is that on purpose? Maybe. Okay, so the nice trail of stars, I'll just kind of point out, I do a variety of sizes just to make it look, again, extra twinkly. We have some bigger dots, which are what I started with. I like to use the bigger dots just to kind of map out very loosely where I'm putting my trail. So that way, if I want to alter it, I could easily put another big star or a couple small stars beside it just to move the trail somewhere else. But again, big stars to start. And then I did all the little teeny stars. The teeny stars really help thicken up the trail of stars without cluttering it too much. So I kind of offset them a little bit. I make them go right in the middle in between the big stars, maybe a little left and right, up and down. I keep it a little cleaner in the heart so that you can really see the heart shape. And then as I get further out, you can see I start to really scatter them just so they don't look all like in a perfect line. You don't want them like marching ants going all the way, right? You want it more twinkly. So that's why I'm making sure to offset a couple here and there while still keeping quite a few kind of bunched up in the trail. And then lastly, you can see I just really liked the twinkly stars up here. I brought 1 or 2 down in the heart specifically just to make it really sparkle and shine. So those are all the details. Otherwise, like I keep saying, customize it the way you like. Add 2 hearts, add a different shape, whatever you need. So I'm just using the small detail brush for all of that. I'm using some plain white paint. I'm really blobbing it on the end this time because I'll be dotting rather than making small lines, right? So if you use a nice big blob like I have, you just need to tap the brush on and off like that, and it creates a nice little blob of a dot for a nice large star. So I was saying before, what I do is I really space out these big dots and just kind of map out where I want my trail to go. So I'm kind of going, you know, straight across. I'll go up a little bit. I'll start to come over to the right. And I'd say right around here, I start to do my nice heart. Again, please alter the way you want. If you want to make this a little bigger, you certainly could. I kept mine pretty tight, but if you want to really fill up the space, you can. So I'm just going to start the right-hand side of the heart. I made it kind of twirl around like this. So starting on the right-hand side, going left. So I bring a little trail curving up and to the right. I do a quick little curve coming down to the left for the first little bump of the heart. Come up and to the left, curving around pretty quickly. And then it comes back down and just intersects anywhere with your initial trail. So you can see that heart shape starting to form. And then otherwise, I'm just kind of coming down. I just kind of swirled it up anywhere just to kind of fill up this space up here. So I quickly moved up, brought it a little left, brought it a little right again. Again, you can see I'm really trying to space these out just so the big ones aren't too close together. I can always add more big stars later if I want, but for the most part, I like to fill up my little trail with small stars. Okay, so now I'm confident in where I want to go, and this gives you, again, a chance to change things up if you need to. If you wanted to change up the heart shape, you can just add more stars kind of going around to make it bigger or smaller. If you want to change your trail, you can make some more stars coming left or right, whatever you want. Just gives chance for flexibility now. But whenever you are ready, all you need to do now is just fill up the trail with small little stars. So I'm trying to use maybe a little less paint, but more so just less pressure when I touch. So instead of really blobbing on and off, I'm just super lightly tapping, getting some small little stars in there. So you can see that's a very tight trail. If I want to split it up a bit more, I'm just going to add a couple small stars kind of on the outsides. And you can see how that splits it up a little bit more. It doesn't look like ants marching one by one. It looks just more like a little scattered trail of stars. So fill up those middles, but then also make sure you scatter a couple extra along the edges to help split those up. See how it's looking there. You can still see the little trail, just not as uniform. And that's really all there is to it. We're just going all the way along, doing that same thing, grabbing little bits of white, just lightly tapping with the tip of your brush, keeping in mind to try and split up your little trail as you go. You can even start with a tight trail and then split up later. You can go back and kind of split up by adding a few more little dots. That's up to you. So I'm just going to be filling up my trail. I will add a couple twinkly stars if you want to see me do that, but it will be the same technique as before. See how that's starting to fill up? So it's kind of like you're widening the trail a little bit just by adding more of these tiny little stars in between and around your big ones. For your heart, if you want to keep them a little more tight, just so you can really see the shape of the heart, that's fine as well. You can still scatter a couple off maybe on the edges here just to make it look a little more, again, glittery. But if there's one spot maybe you want to be a little more tight and careful with, it would be the little heart shape, just so you can really see the shape pull through. Okay, so just because we're nearing the end, I'll kind of do a couple little wrap-up announcements just before anybody goes. But once again, I'll just say thanks for coming, guys. It was very exciting to hit 100 people watching today, so thanks for everybody for making an effort to join in live. I know a lot of you like to kind of watch after, which is totally fine, but I think it's really cool to have people following along, literally painting together. I think that's kind of the magic of these things, so thanks for taking the time in your day to come. I don't currently have any more events posted, but there are more coming. I just need to create some paintings. I was talking earlier about that I have lots of ideas. I just haven't really sat down to paint, but I will be very soon. So you can watch this page. Again, I recommend liking and following the page, honestly, to get some notifications whenever I post. That way you can be really in the know when I have some more events coming. I expect we will have more either this week or next weekend, probably Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday at least. It seems to be the popular days according to everybody when I asked earlier. So you can watch for those. Maybe I'll try out some newer things this week. I think I said that last week, but if I have some time, we'll see. I'll be sure to make all those announcements on the page. Again, I expect to have some YouTube videos up. You can watch for those. Those will be just kind of recordings of my previous tutorials that maybe you attended, but maybe if you missed something, you'll be able to see those. Again, hopefully some condensed versions or some full versions. We'll keep both available for you. And then this event was completely free today, but I know a lot of people ask me about tip links, so I have provided a couple ideas for tips in the description if you are so inclined. Again, they are never expected, they're just always appreciated, so thank you very much if you choose to support me today. I've got an Interac e-transfer link and a PayPal link, whatever you prefer, or maybe you're just coming to enjoy, and that's totally fine as well. Thank you very much again for coming and tuning in live. That's probably what I appreciate the most, so thank you very much. And as usual, please keep messaging this page. It's all me who answers it, so you can message me about anything and everything. If it's painting ideas or requests for dates, times, ideas for what you think the majority would want to do, I love hearing. So please tell me, if you have any opinions on how these events are going or ideas for new painting type live streams, dates, times, themes. Again, any and all are always appreciated. You can see I'm getting to the end of my trail here. Oh, that got a little sharp there. So if you have any sharp edges, you can just grab a couple more dots, soften up the edge a bit, make it a little rounder. There we go. All right. So that's my trail all done. You can see again how you can kind of see a line, but it's still a little scattered. I think I could scatter this a little bit more, but just for the sake of, again, not fiddling with my painting too much, not being a total perfectionist, I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm just going to show you the small little twinkly star detail. Again, it's just the same thing we were doing up here. I just wanted to note that I have one or two in the heart itself. So if you'd like to add those, you can just choose some big dots and literally do a couple lines through them to make them twinkly. So I did it horizontal, vertical in that one. I think in this one I'll do horizontal, vertical, 2 diagonals. Extra twinkle. So you see you got 2 right there. I think it was just a nice little touch to really bring the focus to the heart with all the nice little twinkles there. Okay, so that's the final step. And I'm glad you had fun, Jacqueline and Mish. It is always a pleasure. Yes, as always. I'll see you tomorrow. And you're welcome, Jody. Thank you very much. And Jennifer, yes, I just spoke about them. They're all in the description. Thank you for asking. And Susie, you're very welcome. Yeah, Jerry. Hope you enjoyed your vitamin C. Brittany, you're very welcome. You're welcome, Julie. You're welcome, Charlene. Nice to see all of you again. So much. Yes, please go outside, enjoy that sun. You're welcome, Charlene. You're welcome, Heather. Oh, what a good idea. Heather's writing her initials in the stars. Thank you for that reminder. I almost forgot. Sign your paintings always. Whenever you're done, do a little signature in the bottom corner or in the stars if you're like Heather. I think that's a really cute idea. You can put them in your trail, whatever you want. I like the idea of hidden objects like that. I think it's a fun time. You're welcome, Lauren. You're welcome, Kathy. Lori, you're welcome. Marissa, Wendy, Linda, Joanne, Catherine, Brooklyn, Tina. Oh, and before anyone goes too, reminder, post your photos. Post them. I love seeing them. They're so fun to see what everybody did. And it's always such a nice little surprise because sometimes during these events people say, I'm not really liking it. And then I look for those people in the comments and they have beautiful paintings. So it's always fun to see that everyone kind of surprises themselves, especially at the end. So again, if you want to post photos, I recommend going back to the event page, the Facebook event page that I made. I believe it was just called Free Painting Tutorial, erinbunpaints, something like that. Doesn't usually change, but it's for today's date and time for today's painting. Maybe I'll try and stick it in the comments real quick. If you go and post there now, it's going to be locked. I'm just navigating my way back to unlock it so that everybody can post there. So give me a quick minute and then you can post your beautiful photos whenever you're done. And you're welcome, Karen, Elena, Kelly Ann, so awesome. Bernadine, I'll see you soon, Kelly Ann. Deepa, you're welcome. You're welcome as usual, Sharon, Jennifer, Charlene, another thanks. You got nice little stickers there, that's great. Okay, here I go, guys. I'm just navigating back, and then I'll sign off to have a look at all of your nice paintings. Can't wait. Again, I didn't hear anyone saying about changing colors or anything, but maybe you did, so that'll be a really nice surprise. I heard some of you saying the silhouettes were going to be different though, so that's already another surprise. I'll be able to see all of those. Oh, Barb, I'm so excited for you. Barb says it's her best one yet. Awesome, I love to hear that they're always getting a little bit better, improving. So nice. And you're welcome, Mary. Nice to see you again. Sagamaya, you're welcome. Almost there. It's just taking a little bit to load. Just putting a quick little message in the group just to send a notification for everybody to post. And then I'll be signing off. You're welcome, Linda. I'm glad you had an awesome time. Marlene, you're very welcome. Yeah, a little challenging, but it's good. Point is to have fun as well. So as long as you had fun, maybe learned a little bit too, I think that's just a total bonus. Thanks so much. And you're welcome, Crystal, as well. Okay. All right, we are posting that message. We are editing the page to allow for people to post. Oh, amazing, Crystal. If he's willing, I would love to see that. That would be so nice. Oh, what a cute idea. Yes, Heather, you finally get to use them. I've been hearing that a little bit. I'm actually surprised because I've used Artist Loft and I do like them, but I think it's if you were using the Start Acrylics before, you were probably just used to them. I'm sure if I were to switch right now to any paint brand, even if it was a higher quality brand, I'd probably have trouble too. I think it's just what you're used to. So I'm really glad you finally got them back. Jennifer, don't worry. This will be posted for later. You can have a look whenever you're free. So no worries. Okay, I think it's open. Oh, I hope so. And just in case anyone's still hanging around, I'll post the event page just for easy access. There it is. And that's where you can post some beautiful photos. Yes, anyone can post. We're all set. Okay. All right, so I'm going to sign off, guys. So again, thanks so much for coming. Again, keep your eye on my page. I'll be posting some new events very, very soon, and hopefully just more fun, exciting things coming your way. Again, YouTube videos, maybe different event types. I don't know, just all, painting related live streams. I'm very excited to keep that going for everybody. So thanks again, and I will see you at the next one. Happy Sunday. Bye.